And hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Well, things were fancy for a second.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Andy, you're a little bit louder than normal. I'm gonna turn you down a little bit. Okay.
He's just got a little bit more face. He's got a little bit more face, a little bit more mic.
I'm just really excited by the mic tonight. It's looking enticing.
I mean, have you looked at a mic? Hell yeah. An odd thing to say, honestly, now that I think about it.
Just
I'm not saying that he's going to eat the mic. I'm just saying that his mouth is looking at it like he might.
I'm not saying he's gonna do this thing that he's gonna do, but I'm also not saying it. I'm implying you're inferring, but nothing's being said explicitly. That's not how we roll here.
This is known as covering your bases.
Yeah. Anyway, we fucking this mic or what? So, welcome back to Spheres of Eberron, everybody.
I missed you.
Last what can I say? Last session, not much happened. They went to a normal town, which is normal, and
yeah, that's totally how it went.
And it was fine. It's all fine.
For sure. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what
Except
else
for that roasted bird. That was uncalled for.
I thought that was hilarious, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Now, it's all right to shoot a fowl with a bit of fire. It wasn't very pleasant for the pheasant, but such is life.
Like,
it was a foul, let me tell you.
It's like, what does she do at this point? Oh, she just killed a bird. Just dig with him.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't dig with me at all. Digged with the bird real hard, though.
In a way, isn't Leon like the bird? He's small. He's flighty.
She doesn't know shit about that, though.
It's lit on fire easily.
You don't know me. That's my purse.
It worked for Bobby. It'll work for me.
All right. Well, yeah. Last week, the team left exile, and they made it to Charon. And in the town of Charon, they met with some people. They talked to them a little bit. Thought, hey, something's weird. Sharut and Lumio went to the Wise House, which is kind of the it's the mage right shop / general. Well, not really the general store. It's more the mage right shop. And they were looking for some stuff. And as they were leaving, Sharut saw a suit of armor that he recognized, and he told Lumio about it, and everybody started talking. And they were like, "That was real weird. When did we last see that suit of armor? Wasn't it on Gever?" And they were like, "Yeah." And didn't we leave Gever with some farmer's daughter here that he wanted to settle down with? And they were like, "Yeah." And so they decided to go try to find the farmer's daughter. And somebody was like, "Well, if you're talking about Cheka, she usually hangs out around the church, so you can go over there." And they went to the church, and they saw a fantastic man named Tarzu, who is the high priest of the church, and he was in the middle of making kind of a springtime planting sort of a sacrifice to ROI, and they questioned him, and he said that, Gever left a while back. He might be on the road by now. He doesn't really know. And they said, "Well, what about the girl? Do you know where she is?" And he goes, "Yeah, she's in the next room taking care of the kids, or the next building taking care of the kids." And so they went to talk to her, and she goes, "Gever left a while back. Just hobbled out of here. Don't know where he went." And they said, "Oh, well, all right." And they talked to him a little bit more, and they decided they were going to go back and tell everybody. When they went back to tell everybody, a man named Vorji came in. Vorji is Sharut's sort of contact in town. He's not Sharut's contact. He's just this dude that Sharut was talking to. So Vorji was in town. Sorry, not that Vorji was in town. My mistake. They all went back to the hotel, and as they're at the hotel talking about what they've learned, with half the team going to the church and Quintus kind of doing his psychic thing where he sort of asked the town to tell him information, and the town told him some information. As they're there doing a discussion with each other, Vorji comes in and speaks with the innkeeper and lets the innkeeper know that the tigers that were haunting the city, stalking the city, are still around. They've sort of moved to the south of the city, and it looks like they're kind of going around to the west. And the innkeeper said, well, that could be dangerous. And he's like, "It's fine. I'll get Cheka on it." And the innkeeper goes, "Can she handle 2 tigers?" And Vorji goes, "Yeah, it'll be fine." And he left, and Quintus tried to stop him and was like, "Hey, like, we'd like to help you." And Vorji was like, "Well, you could help by not bringing tigers to our town. What is wrong with you?" And Quintus was like, "I mean, sorry, but can we help?" And then he said, "Look, man, we don't need your help." And he sort of stomped off. So Quintus decided he was going to go talk to the priest with Sharut and Tertia, and everybody else decided that they were going to go see this mill out to the west of town and see what was going on there. And so Quintus goes to talk to the priest. Tertia doesn't do much other than stand there looking sort of bored. And Sharut decides that he's going to sneak into everything. And so Sharut sneaks into the schoolhouse, doesn't really see anything. He then sneaks around into the priest's personal quarters and sees some scrolls and stuff. And he's like, "Are any of the scrolls looking different from the other ones?" And I said, "Well, one of the scrolls has an odd looking kind of like clasp around it. The rest of them just have ties, just like ribbons. But this one has a clasp." And he's like, "I'm going to open it." And I said, "It's locked." And he goes, "I'm going to unlock it." And then it sort of exploded in his face very quietly because neither Quintus nor the priest in the other room heard it.
We were having a moment.
Quintus and the priest then basically talked about a lot, but Quintus got the distinct impression that there's something weird here. And the priest said, like, "Look, people that don't prove themselves don't get to stay in town. That's just how it is." And he was like, "All right, well, where do I go to prove myself?" And the guy's like, "It's not like that. Like, you don't just get to do this and then just screw off." And eventually, Quintus kind of convinced the priest to just kind of point him in the direction. And he pointed him west. Then we moved to the west, and we saw Dandarin and Lumio and Delian and Forsidna walking down the road. And they saw Cheka, the woman from the church, just kind of standing in the middle of the road, just idly biting a nail, doing nothing necessarily, just sort of standing there. And then a ghost tiger attacked her, and they saw her sort of catch the ghost tiger and then throw it on the ground and then kick it. And then she jumped to the other side and she kicked it again, and the ghost tiger ran off. And then she just sort of went back to standing there. And she had kind of a confrontation with Delian, and she advised against going west. And the team went, "Screw you, we're going to go west." And she said, "All right." Like, I've done what I can. And then as they were getting to the west, what they saw was a mill. It's a big windmill. It's kind of up on a little clearing so that the actual panes of the mill are over the trees, and it just looks like a well-built, if a little dilapidated, mill house. And as they were walking up, they started to hear like kind of the sobbing of a child, and they started hearing some chains, and then these things came out of the ground that sort of just looked like gigantic eyes covered in spinning blades and chains. And yeah, so we're going to start with not that group. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will instead be starting with Justin's group. So that everybody knows, Noah couldn't make it tonight. He had a family issue to attend to. So where necessary, I will be voicing Sharut in my best Sharut voice, which is basically just, "I have laryngitis." Yeah.
This is exciting for me because there's 3 characters here, and I'm the only player. So
You're the only one.
yeah, none of the others matter.
Yeah, but
It's great.
voicing Tertia is easy because Mike didn't give her a voice, so I just imagine she's just Mike.
Just her girlfriend, essentially.
Yeah, but Quintus, how can you be sure that this is the right plan of action?
Lord.
Okay, that's
Oh.
Tertia.
Get me to a flourish.
Actually, no, that's Tertia's voice now.
Your vocal cords.
So you're saying
Shot.
that she has become Dr. Girlfriend.
I'm a dainty elven madam. I specialize in dancing.
I love every moment of this because,
I want a TV show of this.
yeah.
They had one, Venture Brothers. That's
Yeah,
Dr.
this-
Girlfriend.
This
It's
is
actually
this is
done.
basically
Yeah.
just the Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I know. I finished that. I need
Yeah.
another one.
If you look at Quintus and you don't just see the monarch, then I don't even know what you're doing. He is the monarch.
Venture, I'll get my revenge.
Show is so good.
So, Quintus,
Yes.
the priest kind of nodded you towards the west, which the west is this way. It's like it's
Yeah.
to the bottom of this map. So he nodded you towards the west. You and Tertia and Sharut start heading that way.
Yes.
And as you're kind of trucking along, can you give me a perception check?
Can I ever?
Good eyes.
All right. So, you and Sharut at basically the same time notice a woman in fairly pale clothing with pale skin and kind of white hair that has been. It's kind of a toss up as to whether that sort of like post braid that has been taken out of braid poof, or if it's just like locks, or if it's just dirty. But she's got just a lot of hair, just like this bouquet of poof on her head that is also pretty pale white. That's about all the details that you can make out. But she is just standing in the middle of the road, just kind of like looking bored, picking at her teeth, occasionally like looking up at the sky or off into the middle distance, just hanging out.
I mean, well, we're walking this way, so I suppose we might as well make some progress.
Okay, so yeah, as you continue on, you can see her a little bit better as you move up. I will show Cheka once again.
I was wondering how long it would take before we got to Chico's picture popping up again.
Honestly, I
there
thought
you
it was
go.
going to be right at the get-go.
There's
Oh,
Cheka.
yeah.
And because I need to do that as many times as possible. That drawing is amazing. So yeah, you see her in a little bit more detail. She's got very long nails. That like of everything about her, the only thing that looks like it is taken care of really is the nails. Otherwise, she's a pretty but kind of dirty rural woman. She just looks like Quintus is from Metrol. He dealt with the upper crust. She does not look like that.
Yeah.
She sort of looks like the burnt pie pan, not the upper crust. Yeah. And as you're, let me get Frisida out of there. Frisida, what are you doing? As you're moving on, and Sharut goes, "You know this woman?"
Not to my knowledge, no.
All right. And when she sees you, she'll stop picking at her teeth with her very long index nail and just kind of wave to you and go, "Hello."
Quintus nods, proving, and he'll point at her and then past her and just kind of like wiggle between the two.
And she goes, "Oh, well, someone's already headed out to the proof. So
Well, that's fine. We're here to join them.
that's not quite how it works."
I'm sure that this will be an exciting time for them.
Well, who knows? I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that it would be allowed to stand in any real regard. But hey, if you want to go out to the proving and interrupt someone else's tests so that you can get yours off, I think that's about what everybody would expect of you.
Pray tell, since this is going to be an unusual circumstance, what might a more normal circumstance look like?
It's usually done one person at a time.
Mhm.
But last group didn't seem to take those sorts of rules seriously.
I see.
So I'm sure turning it from 4 to 7 won't really irritate anything. You're probably fine to go. And she kind of like smirks and like picks at her tooth again.
Well, I'm sure that we'll head that way in either direction, but given that this is intended for a single individual, what was yours like?
Oh, provings are... Look, some people don't need them as much as others. Some people you just know. Other people you gotta test to see if they are, good enough to be with them.
I suppose it's...
I bet the dwarf makes it. If anyone, I bet it's the dwarf.
But it's, I suppose it's a little much then to ask the kind of criteria that are being tested here.
That would be telling.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It's unfortunate because there's, as I've said, there's provings in so many cultures, and obviously what matters to one may be worthless or not useful to another. But I can't imagine in a town such as this that you're looking for something esoteric or eccentric, I suppose.
Hmm.
Your needs seem much more direct.
It's I'll let you figure it out. Can't give too many details, you know. Times being what they are. Dangerous people at the borders and all.
Well, thank you for this lovely chat. Perhaps we'll see you on the way back.
I'm sure you will. Bye now.
And a good one too.
And yeah, you guys start walking by, and as you're walking, she kind of like does this thing where she doesn't totally like block him, but she steps a little bit in Sharut's way, and she goes, "Hi, who are you?" And Sharut just sidesteps, and he goes, "Sharut," and he continues on.
Nice.
Sharut, she was looking to waylay you.
And Sharut says, "Too pale, too bald," and follows after.
Too bald. You'll have to tell me about that.
All right, and so I'm going to copy these three,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, there we go.
you are not there yet.
Mhm.
So for them, what is here? Let me.
Eric,
You
this is
see-
you.
You see these creatures, and these creatures I will show you once again.
Yes, please.
It looks like basically a pile of muscle with an eye in the middle that's surrounded by this churning mass of blades and spiked chains. And they're just kind of flying sort of haphazardly through the air, like they have the ability to move, but not much ability to be graceful about it. Yeah, so everybody go ahead and roll initiative.
Yay.
And just whenever you're ready.
Okay.
I don't think he can. I'm not seeing him on the.
It worked. It's
They're
fine.
they're on the map right here. This is the thing that we talked about last
Oh.
week. How you were like, "Hey, when someone else has a scene, we can't even see it unless we're on the map." So he's just on the map, invisible down here.
Oh, wicked. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Nice.
So once it's his time to go, which I will let him know when that happens, I will make him visible, and he will start at the bottom of the map.
That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, I also I was trying to extend this to get more grass down here, and apparently that is just not a thing, because I changed the dimensions of the map. It changed the dimensions of this particular map, so the map became like a mill made for Slender Man, and it just didn't work. So I was there's a way to do it, but it would have taken so long, and I was like, nah. So this fine.
Yeah, who wants
It's
to go
fine.
collect 8 pieces of paper and go fight a skinny, tall, pale man in a suit?
A skinny, tall, pale man. There's things that I need from everyone right at the beginning. This is from all 4 of the people that are here, including Forsidna. And I need from you 4 will saves.
Oh.
The DC that you're trying to beat here is a 9.
I gotta really fuck this up.
Okay, so what
It
happens?
happened to be magical.
It's a supernatural ability, so no.
I'll just wait till you stop throwing dice.
There's my 4.
Lumio failed.
Nice.
All right. This is awesome. There's so many dice. Okay, so Lumio and Forsidna, both of you are shaken for 1 round. So basically, a shaken is it's a -2 to essentially all D20 rolls. -2 to attack rolls, saving throws, skill checks, ability checks. So yeah. So that's what you are, because this is scary, and there's a bunch of rotating blades looking your way.
It's a good thing I've never met Stalwart.
Stalwart's not a bunch of rotating blades. He just is a sort of a large blade that walks. All right. So, I'm going to get some attacks in, and I'm going to divvy them up. So one there, one there. Actually, wait, I should probably do this in the right order. So begin combat. I will move these back. This one is going to go to you, Lumio.
Yay!
So this is going to be swinging at your flat-footed AC because you haven't gone yet. They got a surprise round. The only one who basically gets to go during this turn is Delian, because Delian was the one that made the perception check. So does an 18 hit you?
See, it's the weirdest thing. My flat-footed is actually my highest AC. So, yes.
Fantastic. You take 2 points of damage, and you also have a bleed effect. Whenever it is your turn, you will take bleed.
Hey.
So,
okay.
Is there a bleed?
Is bleed a thing that can affect Warforged?
You know what? That's a good question. I believe so, because they've sort of been rebalanced for Pathfinder, but let me check a thing.
Oh, please, 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 oh, please.
I'm rooting for you, bud.
Technically, yes. Huh. So, yes. It doesn't necessarily have to be blood. It could be like oil or whatever. But, I mean, you do have organic parts, so it cuts across some of your woody bits, and there's some sap leaking out.
I feel like I should be insulted by some of those descriptors, but ow, it's
you got a knife across your woody bits, and there's sap. What?
It sounds about right.
Next is going to be this one, which is going to go against Delian. Delian, you get your dex bonus because you knew that a fight was coming. However, you haven't gone yet.
I have not.
Actually, no.
He should still be as flat-footed. He just gets to go in the surprise round.
Yeah. So that's what it actually is. So this little ball of whirling blades comes up and basically just bumps into you and then kind of like stumbles back.
That sure does.
All right. Then that will be 3 points of damage. You also have a bleed effect on you.
Okay.
In addition, we're going to go this one, who's going to run it for Sidna and miss. And then Delian, it's your turn. So this guy basically like flew at you and went boom, and is now just kind of he's actually really close. He's like right here.
Okay. I guess I have a question. Since Frosidna was tasked with protecting Lumio, is that still a thing that's happening?
Yes. Frosidna is tasked with protecting Lumio until Lumio tasks her with protecting someone else. But she also hasn't gone.
Okay.
So
that was just something I.
Yeah, she can't like lay down her ability stuff.
Okay.
They're so good though. When it happens, it's so good.
Okay. Then obviously looking at it, there's not going to be an easy way to get in blade wise. So I think I'm going to curse it.
Okay. Go ahead and do I roll or?
I'm looking at it right now.
I believe it's a will save, correct?
I think so. Not Mythweavers. That's not right. Because I'm excited to use this. I want to make sure.
First time.
Proper. Black magic.
Will save DC 10 plus 1/2 your hedge witch level, which is 1 plus your casting modifier of 3. So DC 14?
Yes, I believe so.
I failed. So your curse
it's a
gives
-2 to everything.
So basically you made it shaken.
Yeah. Attack rolls, ability checks, skill checks, and saving throws.
Nice. Okay.
On my turn, I take a bleed, yeah?
Yes, and on your turn you take some bleed. Your bleed is 1 point of damage.
Okie dokie. I wish it was 0. That would have been lovely.
Yeah, the minimum we can do is 1.
Yeah, of course.
All right, and so you have cursed this one. I'll just, I think I'm just going to put shaken on him.
And it's equal to...
It's the one that looks like a halo. I've got it on.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Equal to my casting ability modifier. So
it'll last for 3 rounds. Okay. And then we're going to get to the last augur, who's going to run at Dandrin and belly bump into the big boy. Dandrin, does a 19 hit you? If you're flat-footed.
No.
Damn.
But you're so flat-footed though.
You think dexterity grants me armor class?
Your feet.
What
So
if I
flat.
made you like double mega flat? No, it's fine. Okay. So it goes and bumps into you and just sort of slides around your shield, and there's just this screech of metal on metal on metal on metal on metal as all the chains just whip into it.
I mean, it makes sense, and it's a very funny visual.
It is
You
very
just polished that.
And then top of the round again is going to be the one that was on Lumio, deciding that it wants to do a thing. So at this point, I will be having you all roll will saves, basically as they activate. So if everybody could please roll me a will save, DC 9.
A single one.
Yep.
Okay.
Lumio still shaking.
Yay!
And also still flat-footed, but I don't believe a 7 hits you.
No, legally.
All right, Delian,
So happy about it.
the one on you will also swing. It is no longer targeting your flat-footed AC. However, I need everybody to roll me a will save, DC 9.
All right. How about a crit success?
All right.
Congratulations, you're immune for one round.
How
Feels
about
good.
a crit success?
Feels so good.
Didn't confirm.
24.
You want to take that confirmed crit for a Scooby Snack?
I'm just saying, like, it didn't get a -2 to anything.
Oh, you're right. It didn't. So it'd only be a 22.
Yeah, it
but
still
it
hits,
still hits
but-
because it rolled a 20. But yeah, my bad.
It's the posterity of the thing.
It's the principle of the thing.
Of the thing. No, that's posterior of the thing.
You will take 3 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And the one on Forsidna. I need everybody to please make me a will save.
Sure thing.
Your DC is 9. Look at you, Lumio. And hold on. Let me roll her thing real quick, because I haven't rolled for these last 3. Okay. It will then attempt to strike the Forsidna, and will fail to do so. After that, Delian. We're back around to you. We're now in a turn where everybody can act.
Mm-hmm. I take a bleed.
You take a bleed, sir. You take 3 points of bleed.
Alrighty. At this point, he's seeing like shit's kind of going south, at least for Delian. I think I'm going to. What's that other thing I can do? Cast shadow stuff at it?
Oh, with
Shadow
your,
Blast?
like, hit it with a shadow mark?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe the shadow mark works just like it does for the Fey Adept.
It do.
So you just you make a ranged touch attack.
Okay.
Now note, making the ranged touch attack will provoke from the creature because it's a ranged attack and it's right next to you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. So since you're going to make it, it's going to try to hit you. It will fail. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okay. Attack. I don't know how to make
You could
a
roll it just
touch
as if
attack
you were
on
rolling
this.
your short bow,
All right. I will do so then.
because it's the same modifiers, and your short bow is not magical. A 19 will hit the augur, and I believe it does 1d6 points of damage.
I
It
am
does
unaware.
1d6 points of damage and suffers a -1 penalty to will saves against your sphere abilities for 1 minute.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, wait. It's 2d6 damage. Yeah, it's 2d6 damage. So roll me 2d6.
Okie dokie.
All right, and this one will float slightly higher. You shoot this thing at it, and it just kind of whomps into it, and you see the shadows kind of slow down the whir of the blades for a second, and then they just pick back up and and it's like that sound when somebody is sharpening their kitchen knife on that sharpening stick, but it's like 80 of those all going at once while someone else is rattling chains.
Gotcha.
And
Bad news.
then it's for Sidna. For Sidna will set up her defensive area, because that's what makes sense. And that's 15 feet around her, correct, Justin?
That is correct.
So
I can paste you the basics because I went and found them again real fast if that's easy.
that ain't it.
There you go.
There you go. So for Sidna sets that up as her combat area, and I believe that is going to be what she's doing right now. So this is her full round action, and that's just pretty much what she's doing, is setting that up. At the moment, Lumio, she is counting you as her ally. You are all her ally, but she's counting you as her ally. You can tell her to include other people if you would like. And after that is going to be Lumio.
All right. Well, then I will. I'm going to tell Forsidna to help the others where she can.
Okay.
Because that's kind of blasé and not specific. I know I will have to be in the future, but I don't know what she does when only one person is being protected. So, I am now going to. I think it's time to drop the totem of hit him twice.
The old hit him twice totem?
Yeah. So I'm going to spend a spell point to put up that totem. And yeah, the totem of foresight is now in effect. And I think that is all I really want to do on this turn.
I'm going to change this one to
because
green.
of the issues that I'm shaking. So I just want to maintain that totem.
I said I'm going to change this one to green.
Do you have the power?
There we go.
Ooh, green.
There. That way we can actually see where the red and the green are kind of overlapping. Otherwise, it was kind of hard to see. All right. Cool. You put down your totem. After that is going to be the augur on Dandarin, who is going to do it this time, I swear. All right.
You swear, and yet it still didn't.
And yet. I need everybody to make me a will save.
With that as an attack, it would make sense for Sidna to intervene with the instructions that she has, and subsequently move to that spot just north of Lumio, wherein all individuals are within her reach.
That would make sense. Does that actually move the square?
Yes, because it comes with her. The combat patrol is based around her.
So the combat patrol isn't so much an area; it's just her increasing her reach.
Yes. Well, not her reach, her threatened area specifically. So if she can reach them, she can make attacks of opportunity. But it's important because allies within her reach gain benefits.
Okay. In that case, I will still keep that there. So yes, she will do that to put everybody within, so that she's close to everybody.
So not to prolong this, the thing that makes the most sense is for her then to expend an attack of opportunity and her martial focus, because doing so will give all allies within reach her active defense bonus against all attacks that might apply for the round. And if the attack that was put against Dandarin misses, which it is likely to do, she then regains her martial focus.
Wait. She can also... So she moves there, expends her...
So that, as an immediate action, that's her immediate action for this, which removes her swift action for the next round.
Yes.
She moves to that spot. She grants Dandarin a +2 competence bonus to his AC, and if it still hits him, she can take the hit. If the attacker is also within that threatened range, it also gains a 20% mischance.
Gotcha.
Now, she can also spend an attack of opportunity when Dandarin is targeted to grant an ally within her reach, in this case, Dandarin, her active defense bonus, which is a +3 against that attack, in addition to the +2 competence she just provided. So Dandarin is at +5. By expending her martial focus, that applies to all valid triggering attacks without spending additional attacks of opportunity for each one to all allies within reach.
Okay.
So she's now granting everybody a +3 shield bonus, effectively. If that attack then misses, which it's likely to, given that Dandarin has a +5 to his armor class, she then regains her martial focus and can do that again next round.
Is it specifically a shield bonus?
Wow.
It is explicit. I believe the active defense bonus is a shield bonus.
So it wouldn't
And it does not apply to Dandarin.
So it doesn't apply to Dandarin.
That +3 would not. The +2 competence bonus from her moving close would.
Okay, cool. So she will do that.
Cool. So everybody's AC goes up by 3, except for Dandarin.
Yeah. And then it is Dandarin's turn. Dandarin, there's a small ball of anger just there next to you.
Just rubbing up against you.
Yeah.
So, just to clarify, this was the choose 2 targets and swing at them totem that's up?
Yes.
Ooh.
So technically you can hit the one in the square that you're in, the one in the square that Delian's in, and the one in the square that Lumio's in, because these things are in their square.
In that case, I will target between mine and Lumio. First one will be mine, second one will be Lumio's.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to try and give him a good old walloping.
And we're still doing this as we take the damage from the first swing, but you take the AC from... You take whichever AC you want, but the damage is the one from the first swing, because it just buffs your attack roll, not the damage roll. Just because it's been a long time since we've done this.
Yeah, we're just using the hit bonus and then...
Yeah, so, like, roll 2 attacks. Go ahead and roll 2 attacks. That was a lot of dices.
That's because the first one's a critical, so mine's a critical, and I'll take that one. I'm pretty sure 25 confirms.
Yeah.
So if it's not a construct...
It's not a construct.
Not a construct. Well, that makes me sad. In that case, it will take 24 damage.
Okay.
My attack.
Sounds good. And it will take 24 damage. Okay. You just slam it into the ground. Yeah, you see it just like basically you just whop with your hammer. It dives into the ground. The blade stops spinning for a second, and it just stays there. And this one is going to keep swinging at Lumio. Lumio.
Ow.
I believe it misses you. Can everybody please give me a will save?
Butts.
Crumbs.
All right, Lumio, you're shaking again.
Oh, nice.
The other one, can everybody please give me a will save? Is going to swing at Delian. Delian, I might have missed you because you do have a bonus to AC right now. So with a +3 to your AC, does a 21 hit you?
I think, yes.
Okay. Well, in that case, you take 2 points of damage, and you still have a bleed effect. Next is going to be...
I'm sorry, to interrupt. I forgot to apply the bleed effect on my turn. Is that just 1 point of damage?
It is 2 points of damage.
Oh, okay.
Next is going to be the one that was on Forsidna, but Forsidna left. So I'm going to decide who it wants. Dwayne, you'll be 1.
Sure it will.
It goes to Lumio. Lumio, are you currently armed? You have your Warforged Fist. You have an attack of opportunity if you want it.
Am I muted? No, I'm not muted. Okay. Yeah, might as well. I've never used it before. This sounds like fun.
Roll me a big melee attack to wallop the thingy.
Would you like to catch these hands?
Pardon me, sir. Would you like to catch these hands?
They are only the finest quality. I believe +2. Yeah. How about that?
That's a pretty good number.
Yeah.
All right. Monsieur Lumio, you miss. You took a swing. You did your level best. It didn't work. But it also will take a swing at you. Does a 16 hit you with your +3 to AC?
Yeah, with my +3 to AC, it's 15. So yeah, that does that.
Sounds good. Yeah. So that's going to be 2 points of damage. You got a bleed effect going there.
Again.
And after that is going to be Delian.
Sure is.
Delian, this little ball of terror is just like slamming chains and spikes and knives into you. It's basically like it's flying with all the grace of somebody who has never piloted a drone before, piloting a drone that they've bought off wish.com.
Nice.
Like,
very cool.
Like it's clearly not top of the line.
Yeah, it's very haphazardly floating.
Yeah.
It's the B drone from Gmod.
Yeah.
So, how much bleed do I take?
Your bleed is 1.
Fantastic. I like that. More of those, please.
Please, sir. Can I have some bleed?
I don't want it, but if I'm gonna take it, just a little bit, all right? With that, I'm gonna dirty trick it.
Okay. I mean, it's got an eye. Sure.
It's got an eye. Okay, so I guess here's the question.
Yeah.
I have cursed it.
Yeah.
I have hit it with shadow stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna dirty trick it. Do they all stack?
So, I mean, technically.
Oh, mind you, I don't know if it got a it hadn't hit me. Wait, did you -2 it when you attacked me last?
For the, didn't I? No, I rolled it. Hold on.
Well, I'll just take it because I didn't keep track of it.
Hold on. I rolled 1d20 +2. Yes. No, wait.
Okay, cool. Then we're good. Because I don't think the shadow stuff does anything.
On the one that
bonus.
attacked you, I rolled a d20 +2, and I hit a 21, and you said that hit, and so I did damage. So yes.
Okay, cool. So Then I'm gonna dirty trick the thing. And
Okay.
if they all stack, that's what I'm gonna do.
They all stack. Yeah, they're different effects. So what kind of dirty trick are you doing?
I'm definitely, since it's just kind of having a rough time floating around,
Yeah,
I'm going to kick sand in its eye.
sure. Why not?
Because it's just so funny to me.
This thing is half your
Hershey,
size.
whap.
You can bully it.
Yeah, it's smaller than me. I don't get that very often. So on here, didn't we do a thing to make it so that I could just do the thing? Maybe since it's updated, the dirty trick's gone away.
Hold on. I don't know that we did.
Oh, I know. It was on my Myth Weavers.
Yeah, I believe it's just a d20 plus 7, so roll a d20 plus 7.
Cool. Will do. The weakest.
You throw sand in the air, and it's spinning, and
And it just moves the sand out of the way.
yeah, pretty much.
So sad.
Do you have range on this one? Because
So,
I'm giving him the opportunity to attack 2 things.
But I already
is that
went through
just
with
for
the sand.
attack rolls, or is that also for maneuvers?
I think it's only attacks. I don't know though.
Foresight. Whenever the ally in the area of the totem attacks, they can choose 2 possible targets for the attack and then roll a d20 for each one.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
Doesn't
So
state
it was just an
specifically-
attack.
yeah, since it's a maneuver and not an attack.
Okay.
I would say that one doesn't work for it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Dandrin's thing is different because he kind of like stacks the sunder on top of an attack.
It becomes part of the attack. It becomes a sunder attack. So
Yeah.
it is an attack action.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, after Delian is going to be Forsidna, and she will. Justin, does she have to set up the patrol like every round?
That's a good question. Sorry, let me pull Guardian really fast. Yes, she does.
Okay. So, and she expended her martial focus last turn, so she can't actually do that.
She regained it also last turn
How?
because the attack missed Andrin.
The attack would have missed him anyway.
It doesn't matter. Like as an interrupt, as the thing starts its move, starts to attack, she uses an immediate action to interrupt, provides the bonus to Dandrin's armor class because it's being triggered by the attack. If that attack misses, then she gains her martial focus back.
Okay. So she sets up her combat patrol again.
Yep. Now the combat patrol gets set up. She'll still need to do the immediate action and then spend her martial focus in order to give everybody that +3 bonus to armor class. But
Yeah.
she can just continue to kind of like bop around and do that.
Yeah. But she can set it up where she is for right now. So cool. She will do that. After that is going to be Shiro.
Finally, my time to shine.
So Quintus, you,
Yes.
Tertia, and Sharut are running towards the mill, or moving towards the mill, and you start to hear this kind of like, I'm sure that you hear Delian go like, fuck it, cut me, or something to that effect.
Mostly that, yeah.
Along with what sounds just like a lot of scraping chains and a lot of like just terrible, terrible sounds. And so, yeah, Sharut will, when he gets up there, will move and then take a shot.
Is he immediately within the totem? He sure is.
Yeah, he will. Actually, the easiest way to do this is going to be. There we go. And those are both going to miss. And then going to do this and that again.
Wow.
So he will put 2 into yours, Delian. And yours will sort of bop around in the air as it gets thwopped in the side. Why did 1d20 plus... Oh, my bad. So, yeah, it'll kind of like just bop around in the air, and you'll see the bolts just kind of stick into it a little bit. It will take... there we go. Tertia will do much the same. When she gets to where she is, she will throw her chakram. And she will hit the one on Delian. And because Tertia is Tertia, will say something to the effect of, You took me to a church, and this was going on here. This is way more fun. Lumio,
Yes.
you take 2 points of damages, sir, from use bleed.
Oh. All right then.
And then, what would you like to do?
Eric, leave that door closed. Now's not the time to be going in there.
I misclicked between tabs and it just happened to be right there.
Yeah.
Do it.
Eh.
From my perspective, I saw your little cursor go straight to the door, open it, look inside, and then close it again. And I was like,
Yeah.
this kid.
That
All
was
right.
just
Enough of the distractions. Lumio really doesn't want to be surrounded by a bunch of these little annoying things.
I don't
which
believe
are definitely not concentrating or constructs. So, hey, you can believe what you want to believe, but there's the truth of the matter, and that's Lumio's truth. And so he's going to, he's going to cry about it basically, and try to attack again because he's -2 to everything right now. Because you keep shaking him.
What's funny is that this only lasts for a round, but you keep failing against at least one of them for a round, and it's pretty great.
Yeah, by the end of this, Lumio will be a smoothie. But you know, it was meant to be funny, Travis. If you hadn't laughed, I felt bad. I'm gonna try to punch each of these guys, the 2 that are on my right.
Like actually punch them, like with your hand.
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I don't want wild magic to go off with that, and I think that's the only thing that doesn't do that. So
Okay. Go ahead and give me an
I mean-
attack roll.
You are punching spinning blades.
That's true.
Hey,
he has Warforged Fist, right?
yes, I do.
You're sticking your hand in the disposal, and I don't know why you would.
Actually, you're right. I
Go
have a
ahead, Nick.
stick. Let me hit him with my bandy sock, which I don't think I have any proficiency with, and I'm a -2 anyway. So,
I mean, you say that.
So I don't think that confirms, but that's a hit on one of them, the first one, and the second one is definitely a miss. So,
So go for the miss, yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, with your 20, you definitely hit. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
All right.
I don't know what your slam attack's damage is.
1d4, sir.
Oh, it should be 1d10 like Stalwarts. And to do that, you will need to be a Warforged Juggernaut.
Oh, right. But actually, it's 2d4 because just 1d4 because I didn't confirm. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
you
how
did
this-
not confirm.
Meh.
Okay. You do a big thwack, and you just kind of punch this thing right in the eye, and it sort of floats away from you a little bit, and then just kind of like, and just starts coming back. You can tell that you did not affect this thing at all.
I didn't want it next to me, so it wasn't next to me for a second. I succeeded.
Take the win.
Take the win. I hit it. Next will be Quintus, my sir.
Hey, I get vision. Hey,
Oh, did you wait? Hold on. Did you not have vision before?
I did not have vision the entire time
But I had you on the map all invisible. Like, why was
Yeah.
that the case?
And- because I was invisible.
on.
I could.
Here's a question. Can you see right now?
I can now. Yes.
Wait, but I just toggled. Hold on. So I'm toggling your visibility, but not your vision.
Okay.
What the fuck? I don't know why it worked on the other map and not on this map. Because like I had them on it, and then I made them invisible, and they were like, "We can still see." And then
I just defaulted to watching this stream so that I could keep an eye on what was going on.
man, if you were defaulting to watching the stream, you probably just saw some shit.
I've been clicking around between stuff. I'm not.
No, it's fine.
Like-
So
So I haven't seen anything other than this shit going on.
yes, what you see is your 4 friends fighting these whirling balls of blades and chains.
I have a question about
Sure.
positioning. Are these in their squares or are they on these squares outside?
They are in their squares. These are tiny creatures. So the one that's attacking Lumio, or the 2 that are attacking Lumio, are actually in his square.
Oh, well, that's
The one attacking Delian is in his square. The one attacking Dandarin is in his square. Well, it's on the ground in his square.
The one attacking Dandarin. Be under my boot.
neat. In that case, I'm going to fire um, a shadow mark at the ones on Lumio.
Okay.
So that's a
Go ahead
ranged touch
and
attack.
it's range touch. Take a -4 to hit, unless you have precise shot or whatever.
Ah, right. There's one, and actually that's just sorry. I'm just using my crossbow for a dex attack. Not that one. So I will target the one that is southmost of Lumio
Okay.
and do 2d6 damage.
And that was
That's a good amount of damage.
11 damages. All right.
So he I think he gets a
If you hit it with Shadow Mark, you get a -1 to will saves against your abilities.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what it does.
He doesn't get a save against it because it's
nope,
an attack
'cause you-
base. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
because you hit him. So you shoot him. You see the Shadow Mark do the same thing where it just kind of like slams into him, and then his blades and his chains are just gyrating around, and it kind of and just fades. And then
To be clear, that was a full round action to do, thus avoiding the need to spend a shadow point.
Gotcha. You also like it hit him, but it didn't hit him like all that hard.
Uh-huh.
It kind of it's like the spinning of the blades kind of deflected some of that.
Sure.
After that is gonna be Dandrin.
The one in front of me is just stopped, right?
The one in your square, yes. You pounded it into the ground.
Then I will target between one on Delian and the one that got hit with the shadow bolt.
Gotcha. Go ahead and roll your attack roll. A 17. A 22. Which would you like to take?
I will go with the 22, and I will deal 10 points of damages.
10 points of damages.
Yeah.
Well. Okay. And yeah, you're getting kind of the same thing that that Quintus just got. Your first hit against this thing was like maybe it was just spot on, but this one it just kind of just womp. Didn't do all that great. You definitely like knock it around. It sort of like bounces off Lumio and bounces off Forsidna and tries to cozy up to Lumio again, but just it didn't all go through. And next will be a let me can I get from everybody hold on, let me check distance here. Can I get from everybody, yes, a will save at DC 9?
Sure.
Quintus,
Take that!
Quintus, it's real scary. You are shaken from the spinning blades of the one that's cozying up to Lumio and just trying to, hey bud, hey bud, what's up, bud? So Lumio, basically as this attack happens, Forsidna will go through her whole thing. She will boost you and then boost everybody else and kind of jump in the middle of it. And I believe this gives you a +5 to your AC. So with that in mind, does a 15 hit?
No,
Okay,
because now my AC is 17.
fantastic. Next, can I get from everybody a will save, please? DC 9. Delian, you made it.
I know. This is the lowest I've gone.
And after that, this one is going to try attacking Delian. He's not going to do very well.
No, it's not.
Okay, so at this point, this thing starts to happen in the area around all of you, and you see it just get gloomy. It looks like the trees go from being green to gray. The house starts to look like it's in much worse condition. You see little like pieces of wood just flaking off it like ash in the wind. The stairs kind of like crumble, and you see where a couple of seconds ago there were like just a full set of stairs here. Now it's like there's 2 slats of wood and a bunch of like splinters where other ones were. You see the wheelbarrow over here just kind of like tilt to one side and just and crash down, and skirting this whole area all around this just becomes like this nightmare of whipping spiked chains, darkness, and grasping hands reaching out of the ground.
Oh shit.
And you see the door open, and within you see a creature that is just resplendent. This creature it looks to be a skeleton of pure gold that is wearing tattered clothes made of, it looks like screaming faces. And it is just this bright to the point of being somewhat painful golden color. I need for, as it moves up, I need the group that was here first. So Dandrin, Forsidna, Delian, and Lumio to each make me a will save, please. This one is not DC 9. Delian, you made it.
I'm assuming that this one is also a supernatural ability.
Yes. All of their gazes are supernatural abilities.
Fucking wow.
All of you made it.
How about you get out of here with that weak ass? Please don't hurt us.
So the sheer golden magnificence of this thing is twisting at your insides as it moves forward and makes itself known, and all of you are just kind of like, ooh, and I should roll for Forsidna. And you see Forsidna basically clutch her stomach and begin to retch. And from the shadowed darkness, you see a creature appear, basically from underneath this little landing that's leading up. It looks like it crawls out, just, and then stands up. It's a person that looks like they are partially composed of shadow.
Whoops.
It's this kind of resembles a woman. It's this creature partially composed of shadow, and you see little whiffs of smoke just trailing off it. And as it makes itself known with a new ones for the proving. I need, hold on. Quintus is just out of range. I need this group right here to please make me will saves. Delian, you made it. Dandrin, you made it.
I go.
Lumio. All right. So, Lumio.
Yeah.
You are shaken, and you...
Tell me something new.
You feel... So you're shaken because you're seeing the shadows around you dance. And you've seen this a little bit before with Delian, which makes sense because a lot of his magic is darkness-based. But out of the corner of your eye, you keep seeing your own shadow just reach up and try to, like, just claw at you. So your shadow's just kind of lifting up off the ground and doing this, like, clawing/loving caress for your leg. And it is really off-putting. You are shaken. And... yeah.
Illusions are the worst.
Then, as you're shaken, the guy on you attempts to hit you. He goes, and all the buzzing blades just kind of like try to whap into your head, and it doesn't work.
Do I also need to do the thing where I roll to see if I'm shaken?
Yes, everybody will need to do that. If everybody can please give me a will save, DC 9. Lumio, you will pass. Dandrin, you will pass. Delian, you will pass. Forsidna is, she is going to make it. Sharut is going to roll and make it. And Tertia is going to make it. Okay, after that, Delian, it's your turn. Let's start off your turn with a little bit of bleed damage.
All right.
Take 3 points of bleed.
Okie dokie. Huh. So that sucks. Delian's gonna kind of look at the situation around him and see this little thing just like kindly irritating him.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey guys, sorry you have to see this, but I'm getting really tired of this shit. And he's going to cast Cold Touch on this little bastard.
Okay. So, as you do it, as you start like having the cold kind of like come up your arm, it starts to empower that winter cyst that's on your arm, and and you feel the creature kind of wake up, and it goes, contentment, danger.
Yeah, no shit.
No shit, what?
So are you going to use your chill touch or are you going to use safety? You can use either. I'm just asking.
I know. Either way, it's gonna be. I'll let safety wake up a bit. I'll use chill touch.
Okay. Go ahead and this is going to provoke unless you cast on the defensive. It's your choice.
What does cast on the defensive do? I've heard this before.
Okay, so like if you're in melee and you're trying to cast a spell, you have to cast on the defensive. If you don't cast on the defensive and I hit you, your spell is ruined.
Oh yes.
If you attempt to cast on the defensive and you don't roll high enough, you don't trigger an attack of opportunity or anything, but your spell is still ruined.
Okay.
So like casting on the defensive is you have to make the roll, but it doesn't provoke as much danger. I don't know how much danger it would provoke anyway. I don't know if the guy that's on you can hit you, but it's your choice.
I don't think Delian would cast on the defensive.
Okay.
This is like out of desperation.
Okay. Go ahead and I will actually roll to hit and see if I do.
And he sure as shit does.
Well, hold on. You have a +3 to your AC because
I'm at a 19
with a +3.
Yeah, I'm 16 normally.
All right. Well, sir, that's going to be 1 point of damage. Take it. And
spell thistles.
So you took damage while casting. So now you just so now I believe you just make the concentration check to see if you can keep the spell.
Okay.
So roll a concentration check.
What would that be?
Concentration for you. 1 sec. Concentration for you is you were injured while casting, so it's 10 plus the damage dealt plus the spell level, so your DC is 12. And what you are rolling is... Yeah, go ahead and roll a d20. I'll tell you what to add.
Okay.
You roll a d20, you add your caster level and the ability score modifier. So I believe your caster level is 3. Your ability score modifier is also 3. So you're rolling a d20 plus 6, and you got to get a 12.
Okay. I didn't.
Okay. So, like, the cold starts to come up, and you reach out to smack into it.
Could I burn a hero point to make that a 13 and make it?
Yeah. Yeah, you can add
4. I would like to do that.
Sure. So, like, it starts to fizzle, and then you just go, no! And, like, your mark kind of flares with cold for a second, and you've cast Chill Touch. So, if you would like to reach out and make a melee touch attack for me.
Yes. Melee touch attack, so like a dagger?
Yes. I believe a dagger would be the closest alternative you would have to a melee touch attack. So you can roll that attack roll. You're just trying to hit its touch AC.
I just need to check one thing.
Just make sure you're not using like the magic dagger.
Yeah, I think I got rid of that one.
Yeah.
All right, here goes nothing.
Okay. So, you don't hit its touch AC.
Right.
But you've cast Chill Touch, and Chill Touch lasts for multiple rounds. It lasts for multiple touches.
Cool.
And I believe your marked caster level is at 2, so you have 2 rounds of this.
Okay, cool.
All right. For Sidna, we'll set up her Oh no, she won't. For Sidna is nauseated. For Sidna will be nauseated. That is pretty much what she can do. She can take a single move action. She can't even get back her martial focus with a move action. So she will continue to retch, and that is pretty much it. After that is going to be Sharut, who will kind of like take a step forward as a tree behind him starts trying to like reach out for him, and he's going to take 2 shots, targeting the ones on Lumio and Delian. So he'll make his poison. Why not? And okay. He will only hit with 1, and he will hit the one on Lumio. He hits it. Lumio, you see the southern one on you take another bolt that it very quickly snaps. So all the wood kind of falls to the ground, and you just see the metal sort of get integrated with this thing and become more blade. However, he hit it with a flashbang.
Which doesn't integrate so good.
Doesn't? Yeah, the flashbang don't integrate so good when you hit a thing that is mostly eye. So now this eye can't use its ears? Look, D&D is a weird game.
That's 90% of the reason I keep playing it.
And then it's Tertia's turn. She will like catch her chakram as it bounces back to her hand, move forward while drawing her grandmother's sword, and will swing. She will attempt some injurious moves here. Oh, she inflicted bleed damage. It's non-lethal with bleed. Nice. Okay. She's put bleed on the bleedy bot.
How do you like that?
Actually, wait. She did... Why did she do so little damage? Because it's 1d6 minus 1. She did not put bleed on it, because she only did 1 damage and didn't bypass its DR. So she runs up and she goes thwack, and nothing happens. And she goes, right then, I'll use the scarf. And she just kind of like sheaths the sword and whips out the scarf. After that, Lumio, it's your turn. You still got 2 on you. Your bodyguard is to the north of you throwing up. There are terrible things happening all around you. You're going to take some bleed real quick. It's 2 points of bleed.
Yay. There we go. And all right. Well, we'll try it. I'm gonna do the bolt that does electricity and does extra percentage to hit because of metal. That was a mouthful that didn't need to be. Make an attack roll, which would normally be +5, I believe. But will only be +3 because shaken. I don't think that hits.
No, that won't hit.
No. All right.
I do need you to roll your wild magic, please.
Yes.
So is that going to trigger with what you were doing? I don't believe so.
No, I didn't add any modifiers, so it would only been 10.
Okay.
That was only against it.
Cool.
Yay.
All right. Can I get everybody, including Quintus, to give me a will save, please?
This one's acting again.
Son of a bitch.
Yes. So at the beginning of the round, it regens 2 hit points, and it starts to lift up in the air as its eye slams open. So everybody needs to give me the will save, but then Dandrin can give me an attack of opportunity. Lumio, you're shaken again.
Yeah.
Sharut is not I rolled Sharut's will save, and then so many dice happened. And I was like, what?
Sorry.
What does he have triggered to his will save?
Goblins.
Noah, you vicious
Goblins.
cheater. Okay, so yes, Dandrin, you hit it real good. What's the total damage on that?
I did another 10 points of damage to it.
Another 10 points of damage. Okay, that you see the blades that were spinning sort of halt, and it just slams into the ground again, and all the dirt just gets in the rotating knives. There we go. The rotating knives.
Kniffs.
Sorcerer.
And the Wanderer. Quintus, it's your turn.
He is muted.
Is he muted? Justin, you're muted. If you're talking, you're muted.
That's dumb. I would like to make knowledge checks.
Sure. Would you like to give me a knowledge planes?
I would. I love them so much. I'll give you 2.
Sounds great. I'll
Dude,
take the higher
so
one
nice.
and tell you what you know about things.
It's not wonderful.
No, it's not.
That's the same fucking
The
number.
odds
so
of it.
I don't know, man. They're spooky.
Copy pasted.
You have spent much of your life in another world, on another plane, and you have never seen, like, even when you're dealing with sort of like dark fae, you have never seen anything like this.
Okay.
You know that these are horrors from somewhere. You have no idea where.
Fair enough. Well, I've seen Dandrin put one in the ground, and it just keeps getting back up. I don't know why we're continuing to move towards these things when these other dudes are so clearly the next level up from putting our hands in the blender. So Quintus is going to look at this situation and realize it's probably not ideal to be here right now, but also we need to figure out what this proving and why this town is so fucked the way it is.
So what does he do?
While retreat is the smarter option, Quintus has a ridiculous sense of duty, and even on the off chance that this goes sideways, figures he might be able to finagle something out of it. So he sticks around. He's gonna fire another shadow mark. One on Lumio and one at Delian.
Okay, sounds good.
And this is taking into account all the negative bullshit.
You fired them as for Sidna.
Yes, as for Sidna. I don't know why I have her selected.
You know.
Cause.
Just cheating
All right.
things.
So the one on Lumio takes nothing.
Yep.
But it's fine because it's a full round action, so it doesn't cost me anything either.
Sounds good. Okay. So, Dandarin, it's your turn.
Once again, I will target the one attacking Delian and the one attacking Lumio.
Okay, sounds good.
But I will call out, if anyone knows how to keep these things down, now's the time.
No, absolutely not.
Unfortunately, I will hit the one in front of you, Delian, but I will do no damage.
It's all good.
So how much damage total was it? 5. Yep. You hit it just square on.
What if it
just
was piercing damage?
That's still not it. All right. And after that, next round. Can I get everybody to give me a will save, please? DC is going to be 9.
Wow.
Bitch! Hey!
I am now shaken.
Right. And Delian, you're a little shaken. Lumio, a little shaken
At this
still.
point, stirred, I guess.
Uh,
Joke that had to be made.
Actually, since it's coming from the 2 different effects, you were not shaken. You were frightened. You want to run away. Since the one that made you frightened is this one, you want to run away from this.
Okay. Crap.
And yeah, I will. Let's see. And okay, it will then swing. Lumio, does a 17 hit you?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll take 2, and
Cool.
it will then go to the other one. If I can get will saves from everybody, please, as this dude bumps up against Delian uselessly.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see,
Hey,
guys.
shaken.
That wasn't a good one. Dandarin, you're shaken. Lumio, you're still shaken.
Frightened.
I will roll for the others real quick. And the resplendent gold one will say, "Too many. This isn't how it's done. But don't worry, I can still make you magnificent." And he walks up to the still retching Forsidna and swings at her. And she doesn't go down, but she takes a lot of damage from it. I also need everybody in the main group that's over here and Sharut to give me will saves.
Oh boy.
And as all of you are just looking on this ghastly, gorgeous monstrosity with his shiny golden bones, he slams 2 claws into Forsidna and sort of picks her up and says, "I'll make you wonderful." And just drops her back on the ground. It's a sight that your minds can't properly kind of comprehend. And you all just feel your stomachs wrenching inside you. And everybody who rolled, because I see no successes here, is nauseated. And this one starts to move here to take a step forward. And the golden one says, "No, the small one. He's too dark. Could use some lightening up." And instead, it charges towards Quintus.
All right.
Quintus.
Yes.
The Lapidarius is going to make a attack on you.
Okay.
Does this hit your touch?
That does hit my touch AC.
All right. This ghostly hand, as it's coming, this hand is like, it actually looks mostly solid, but as it gets to you, you just see it start misting away, and the hand kind of phases into your chest and claws something and pulls it out. You take 5 points of strength damage. And it is then the Augur's turn, and the Augur will swing at Alumio. Lumio, does a 13 hit you?
I'm not getting any bonus from Forsidna, right?
Not at the moment, because Forsidna has not. Forsidna keeps failing the check, and so she can't put up her thing. Actually, she can still take her immediate action. So if you'd like, she will take the hit instead. Because I believe she can do that. She just can't put up her whole wall thing.
No. No need.
Okay.
It's usually 2 damage.
Okay. So you will take 1 damage, sir.
I don't know if I can handle it.
Can I get everybody to give me a will save, please? Everybody who's not already shaken, I guess.
I got that one.
All right. And I will do Sharut, and I'll do Tertia, who will fail again. That's the second one she's failed. She's not doing good. She's moving up. Dillian.
Mm-hmm.
You, sir, will bleed for 3 points.
Yeah.
And you're nauseated. You can take move actions. You can take a single move action if you'd like.
I believe my hook shot is a move action.
I believe it is.
I would like to do that.
Where would you like to hook shot to?
I'm gonna hook shot over to this collapsed barrel.
Right here? Oh,
Yep,
no, wait.
yep.
Okay, so you're gonna hook shot over to here?
I am indeed.
All right. Yeah, does that provoke when you move out of that square? It should, right?
I don't know. Sure, but it certainly hits too.
All right. You will take 1 point of damage as it lays another cut into you. So yes, you're just kind of woozy and retching, and you fling your hook shot over and slam into the barrel and pull yourself to it. Forsidna has a move action. I don't think she can do anything with just a move action. She'll take a 5-foot step to try to get away from this dude. Actually, she'll just stay where she is because she has to put herself between the guy and Lumio.
Yep.
So she'll look at you, Lumio, and say, "Get away from him." And Sharut is nauseated. He will poison his bolts. Tertia can't do much. Lumio, it's your turn.
All right. I'm nauseated. I'm frightened.
Yep.
And I don't think kindly of these things. So I'm afraid of this one, as I recall.
Yep.
So I need to move away from it this way.
Correct.
So I don't know.
Withdrawal action.
Yeah.
You can withdraw and move up to your. Actually, you can't withdraw because it's a full round. You just have to walk away.
Yay! So I walk there
Okay.
and take 3 attacks of opportunity along the way.
You'll just take 2 because they don't have reach, so they have to be in your square. So one of them will hit you.
Okay.
But Forsidna will spend her immediate action to give you a +2 to AC. With a +2 to AC, does the 19 still hit?
Yeah.
Then she'll just take the hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Forsidna will be down 1 point. And Quintus.
Yes.
What would you like to do?
Okay. So, because this is not explicitly an action, I am going
Sorry, did you roll bleed damage? Was that the one there?
The bleed damage I rolled at the beginning of your turn, it was a 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is not explicitly an action, but what Quintus is going to do is to concentrate on all of the things that he is experiencing right now, because he is going to archive them mentally, including these 2 creatures, the appearance and the effect that they seem to be having on others.
Okay.
For his action, I'm going to spend a hero point to do something impossible.
Sure. What would you like to do?
Quintus is going to look at the screaming, draped golden skeleton and say, "This is all a bit much, isn't it? Look, if you want to do something, let's just do it. I'm something of a connoisseur of fashion myself. Why waste the time here? Let's just go." And I'd like to make a diplomacy check.
Sure. I'll let you make a diplomacy check. It's going to be hard.
I realize that I'm not getting out of this, so I figured the best that I can do is let's just move this along to the next step. Yep.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, that's there's an additional 4 in that because I used my intelligence modifier.
Okay.
Is it
So it's 24?
Yeah.
And the creature kind of like it's weird to say that a skull smiles, but that's sort of what you see happen. That the grin of the golden teeth and the golden bones just looks like it creaks slightly. And he says, "No, no. There's no pudding before dinner. This is part of the proving. You know you're wanting. Submit. Submission. That's all that will save you at this point." And as he's saying this, he's like raising his hand to bring it down on Forsidna again. Dandarin.
How do I get rid of the nauseated?
The nauseated just has a 1-round duration.
Ah,
It's the effect of his gaze is you're nauseated for 1 round.
it's a gaze attack, or it's like he has an aura.
It's a gaze attack.
He shouldn't have been making these will saves.
Why?
Unless it's like a cone, because gaze attacks, you have to meet their gaze.
No. I said it was a gaze at the beginning. And gaze affects every creature that you can see, or that can see you, within 30 feet.
Okay.
He
I thought it was an
can,
aura.
he
I did not
can,
hear it was a gaze.
he can use a standard action to target you again, and like I'm gonna meet your eyes again, but he hasn't been needing to.
Okay, I did not hear it was a gaze. I totally thought it was an aura, because gaze attacks, you can declare, I avoid the gaze.
Okay.
You can avert the gaze. So I didn't hear that, but I'll assume it was a Discord problem. So yeah, I guess I retch. That's my turn.
All right. So for you averting your eyes, you have basically a 1 to 50 each chance to avoid having to make the gaze check. So when I tell you to make a will save for these things, on a 1 to 50, you don't have to make it. 51 plus, you do. So the auger's going. Everybody needs to make a will save.
I'm still in that, yeah.
Yep. Yes, you're still within 30 feet because they're both here.
Was it?
Mine.
These guys, though, it is like an aura, right? Because it's like the noise and everything.
Nope. It's a gaze for all of them.
Okay, cool. I'm good.
Okay, hold on.
Oh, I did the wrong thing.
Delian, I believe you are just inside of 30 feet from that one, yes. So, Dinner, you don't have to make this one.
I'm 35.
Okay. They will cozy up to Tertia and start cutting. And miss. So, at this point, I think we can probably take a quick break. We'll just say it's the beginning of the round. Let's take a quick break because it's 9 o'clock. We'll come back at 9:15. And then we can move on from here.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. So let me... All right. And we're back. After these messages, we'll be right back. I saw a The More You Know gif, but instead of The More You Know, like with the little star and the rainbow, it said like, learning and shit. And I was like, yeah.
I think I saw that too. That was in the
Yeah, it was in our
Yep.
it was in our other Pathfinder Games Discord. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Learning and shit. It was good. It's a good dumb joke. I like it.
It's good.
The more you learn and shit.
All right. So, the lot of you are basically witness to a horror show of one by one, very slowly getting dismantled, with most of you being too sick at the sight of the chitin in charge to be able to do anything about it. His resplendent golden grandeur just occupies every thought that you have, and you just continually retch. For those who are managing to get away, things start coming out of the shadows. You see these blue creatures with chains wrapped around them who come out of the shadows moving towards the house. One of them has a pair of large, dead-looking, misty dogs next to it. And so, like, Delian, with your next step, because I'm sure that when Forsidna goes down, and Tertia follows, and Dandarin, while nauseating, is trying to make his way back to the group, at some point, Delian probably goes, all right, like, I gotta go. And you kind of, like, hook shot into the shadows, and then with your, ability to see through the darkness, you see these things come for you, and they just quickly grab you, binding you with these bladed chains, and beat you unconscious.
Yeah, it probably doesn't even take all that much, to be quite honest with you.
There's a point where Quintus Sharut starts shooting at the thing that's trying to drain the strength out of you, but a lot of his bolts seem to just fly through it. And then you see this thing happen where this creature that looks somewhat like a so in terms of size, it's about as big as like a 10 or 11-year-old, but in terms of looks, it looks like it doesn't have skin. It's just gray musculature and glowing red eyes and mouth. And it jumps down and it screams. It's just this loud scream. And everyone around it has this urge to just step forward and beat on it. And it stands there kind of like dodging and twirling to get out of the way as everybody is just trying to beat on it without any sort of heed to what's going on around them as the augurs continue to spin and as the Lampidarius continues to walk behind people and drain their strength. The last one to fall, the one who has the ability to take the most damage and is generally just the toughest one to injure, is Dandarin. And the Oitos will step up to you and then with its large claws reach out and say, "Mithril shield, we'll give you something grand." And just swipe and swipe and swipe until you two succumb to blackness. And
Best you got.
is that the best you got? I like this one. He's scrappy. And the 7 of you awaken in the mill, which has vision. Oh man, I did it ahead of time. Yeah.
I'm outside it.
Are you? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also over
What?
here.
Awaken.
Oh, there.
In the mill.
Oh, it's refreshed.
Holy shit!
I just teleported outside. So, basically, you are all hanging and strung up from this wheel, which is at the top and is slowly rotating. So basically, everybody is around this thing, hanging from your arms, just doing your rotating thing. Even for Sidna, who for some reason is stuck on her old art. Who knows? This is gonna annoy me if I don't switch it.
I know. I can see that you're like, I'm trying to move past it. I can't move past it.
So, look, we all have our limitations, and one of mine is that if something is annoying enough, I have to fix it.
Yeah.
There. So, yeah, you're all hanging there, just kind of dangling around. And Delian, for some reason, it looks like you were not properly attached to these chains.
Mm-hmm.
And so your left manacle is just a little looser than your right. And everybody else, actually, if you can all give me a Constitution check, please.
Constitution, not fortitude.
Just Constitution.
Check. Hello, Quintus. How are you over there? You're looking mighty strong.
I'm feeling just dandy, thank you. Lumio, you're looking quite grand yourself.
Oh, yes, I feel... Delian, no.
Oh, God's help.
Oh, little Dandrin.
So,
It's
Delian,
up.
Yep.
you realize that you're awake. Lumio and Quintus are also awake. But again, you're all attached to this wheel, and the wheel's just slowly rotating. So you're basically doing this
Okay.
as you're dangling there.
I guess I cast a sphere of darkness and then spend a shadow point to teleport myself out of those chains and onto the floor.
Okay. Can you give me a? You'll have to do a concentration check to cast for me because you have somatic components and you are currently bound.
Okay.
So,
I can totally do that.
D20 plus 6.
D20 plus 6.
Yeah. So as everybody continues to move and this is happening and this is happening, you get to the point where you're over here when you pop down.
Okay.
And yeah, it looks like some of you definitely took a bigger beating because some of you required a bigger beating to go down. And that's the only way I can rationalize the fact that the like weakest among you are the ones to wake up. But Delian, you're up and you're out of your chains, and looking out this little window to the south, it looks like you're still in this sort of nightmare.
Okay. How high up are they?
They are about 15 feet up.
Okay.
If you could figure out a way to stop the windmill, it would probably be easier, because they're still rotating as the wind catches the panes outside. It rotates outside, which rotates the gears in here.
Because what I could also do is hook shot up top, drop down onto said wheel, and just start unlatching them.
Said wheel is basically at the roof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You could try to go up to the next level and see if you could stop it there, or go down. But as far as like being able to stop it here, it would be nearly impossible because as you're trying to like unpick their locks, they're moving away from you.
Yeah. The idea is that I would have been on top of the wheel, but if the wheel is, on the roof, then no deal. Then I will definitely hold on a second. Nothing a few wedges can't fix, and I'll head to the second floor.
Okay. So, looking outside, it looks like you are actually on the second floor. You are elevated. So there's stairs next to you that are going down, and then there's a ladder here that goes up.
I see. So there's two ways to do this. I can go down and fuck with the gears, or I go up top. I'll go up top first.
Okay. So I'm gonna copy you real quick, and I'll copy everyone. Actually, no, it's too small up there, so I can't actually move everybody there so that you can see. Unless if I put everybody in one square.
For Sidna, protect us all.
For Sidna, do it. There. And now everybody will be able to see what's going on up there.
Downtown token vision.
Yeah, I'll fix it in a second. I was doing a thing, and now you should be able to see.
Yes.
Yes, I can.
So, Delian, you climb up through this little trap door.
Mm-hmm.
You open it up, and just as you get to the top, a bony golden hand kind of reaches down to grab you.
Oh, come on.
And it just hefts you up, and you find yourself in this room. And looking around, you see not only this creature, the Oitos that you saw before, but you see skeletons that look to be made of solid gold, just lining the wall. Some of them posed. Some of them are strung up to devices that looks like they might have been tortured. Some of them are sort of like kneeling with like a flat plank of glass on their back, so that they're serving as some sort of table or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, the first to escape the bondage. Do you have a name, or shall I make one up for you?
Well, the name's Delian.
A good one. Zil.
Thanks.
I've heard it's like before. And the whole time, like, unless you're actively averting your gaze, looking at this resplendent golden creature just twists your stomach as you fathom how something could be this gorgeous and terrifying at the same time. Like, the thought fights in your head so much that your stomach is just churning.
Yeah, I'm definitely, like, Delian learns his lesson pretty quick. Like, he's not looking directly at him.
And the chitin says, "It's not your time yet. Church is still due to come. Forgive me this trespass, but I'm sure you'll see worse in the days that are soon to be embedded in your memory." And
that's very ominous.
it slams you down, and the claws kind of sink into you for a minute.
Okay.
And then you don't really find blackness. Instead of finding blackness, like normally happens when you get mauled by something suddenly and you pass out, what you see is this bright, shining gold. And then it sort of, you can't see anything else. You just go unconscious.
All right.
And the rest of you who are up will see the Oitos slowly float down the opening that has the ladder, and he will hang Delian once again from the gear, and then stand there looking at each of you And anyone who dodges away from the eye contact, or anyone who seems to react to his abilities, he then does the same thing that he did with Delian. He just kind of grabs you, and you feel a wrenching pain. And then it's not a blackout or a whiteout. We fade to gold.
Oh, somebody paid extra for this. This is like DLC, guys.
This is DLC. We're fading to gold.
Who knew this was made by EA?
For an additional $4.95 when you get killed in Call of Duty, you too can fade to gold.
As well, Quintus will try not to be the first one to react, so that he can try and get some words in.
Okay.
Because his whole thing here is he's trying to commit as much of this as he can to memory, and getting the dude to talk helps.
Sure. You see him. You see him do this thing to Lumio, and it's just this. He's not quite squeezing, but he's definitely causing damage. But it seems like he's very careful as to how much he can cause. And then when he gets to Sharut, who is just starting to kind of wake up, he says, Dakani trash. And it's nowhere near as gentle as he was with Lumio or Delian. It's just a big, like, palm to the forehead, and Sharut's head rocks back, and he just hangs there limply.
And at that stage, Quintus says, look, is this part of your proving, or is it leading up to the process? As I'd mentioned, I just want to get this done, and moving towards the guts of it, if you will, is better than all of this waiting around.
There was no proving here. A solo task for members of the town to be composed by 7 violent outsiders, forcing their way in. You had your land and you lost it. That's what I'm told. And he kind of like gets his face really close to you, and your guts just retch and twist, and he goes, you should be reveling in that loss. Let it be part of you. Bathe in what could have been. Shed that weakness. Attain perfection. And as he says, like, attain perfection, you see him stand, and he sort of rolls his shoulders back. And when he rolls his shoulders back, it's just bones rolling in that joint. And if you ignore the fact that he's wearing a little cape made of, like, screaming faces and a little skirt made of screaming faces, it's a very resplendent and magnificent skeleton.
As he's choking, trying not to just spit up all over the floor, Quintus is going to chin forward, and he'll say, I'll have you know, I'm the one who brought short capes to Seer. and then that's it. Like, that's all he's got, and he just vomits all over the floor.
Okay, that's hilarious to me. And so, like, he steps back as you vomit, and then the same thing. He basically palms your hand with this bony, golden, mangled claw, and you fade to gold painfully. At that point, I need for everybody to give me another Constitution test.
Oh, I ain't good at these.
Should this just be a thing where you go by Constitution? Because some people just might never make it by the dice.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
If there's like a set DC and it's a contest, so there's nothing about it, like this could just go on for ad infinitum. Do you just want to say based on highest Constitution or lowest Constitution or whatever?
I know what's happening. I'm seeing who gets what. So, all right, Quintus.
Mm-hmm.
And Dandarin. So Quintus and Dandarin, the two of you wake up in a different room. You are no longer hanging up. You are instead basically chained to various tables, and it looks like this is some sort of torture room, but around you what you see are just golden skeletons just everywhere. They're on the wall. It looks like they're making up the table that you're on. And Dandarin, you see that the one that you're next to, because you're not quite on the table yet, it's like they've sort of got you tied up and bundled on the ground, and there's another one that looks like it's also on the ground with you. Not another person. There's a skeleton that's kind of on the ground with you. And both of you see this, but Dander, you're the one that recognizes the longsword that's near the skeleton. It looks like the blade has been broken, but you recognize the handle because you gave it a look-see when you were examining it about a week and a half ago. and you're pretty sure that the longsword next to that skeleton is Gever's.
Mm.
And then the room becomes shadowy and misty again, and you hear
Wait,
the rattle of chains. Oh, go ahead.
As I see the sword, and I get to a place where I can hold it in my hands.
You're just bound on the ground. You can't get to a place where you can hold it in your hands.
Okay, so it's not like just hands tied behind me or something. I'm like fully engulfed in chains.
Pretty much, like they're
Okay.
chitons, they're chain devils. So, but as you start trying to like move or wiggle and you make some noise, and Quintus, you see that Dandrin, like he sees a sword and he's like moving towards it. You guys hear some chains coming from the door, along with some footsteps, and that slow sort of like and patting of feet that announce one of those shadowy dogs. And then there's this time it doesn't fade to gold. This is just a lot of pain, and then everybody's unconscious again. And from that, can I get another con check from everyone?
Hey.
All right. Quintus and Lumio, the two of you are in a room that Quintus, you actually both of you would recognize as the church. You are both like similar to how you saw the calf strung up on the rafters the first time you got here, Lumio. The two of you were strung up there, and it's you see a few people just kind of looking at you, and then this horrid thing happens where this just lovely, if somewhat dirty, pale girl looks up at the two of you, and you can see that all of your friends are also there, but she looks up at the two of you and says, "These ones are awake." And behind her you hear, "Well, put them back down. We haven't decided what to do yet. It's harder with locals." And she says, "Gladly." And you see this woman leap out of her skin, and the pale skin just rips apart, and the thing that comes at you is this monstrous creature, just gangly, over-muscled. It's got a jaw that extends both further and lower than the rest of its face, so it's just these huge teeth and this black tongue sticking out of it, and it leaps to the two of you and grabs you and basically rips you off the chains, pulls you down to the ground, and then you go out. And then, I need one more from everyone.
Present during.
Okay. So, Lumio and Quintus, let me get you all back to the right map. Lumio, Quintus, the two of you awaken in the back of the wagon, and you're on the road. The wagon's just kind of jostling along. Delian's there. Delian looks fine. He's just, kind of snoozing. Sharut's doing the same thing, snoozing. Weirdly, you see Tertia is actually in the back of the wagon and just kind of laying down. Looks to be just softly snoring away. Neither of you are driving the wagon. You're just in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So, what would you like to do? So, to be clear, you know that you left Star Lasker about a day ago, and you went to Exile, and Exile was real bad. And then as you started to leave Exile, man, you just started getting hunted by these tigers, and you took some refuge in Sharon for a while, and those people were fairly helpful. And they told you that you could stay as long as you wanted. So you just sort of took some time in the inn for a couple of days, and things are just there was something about Gever, and they told you that an Oramite was kind of haunting the road, and you guys don't really remember what an Oramite is or where that could have been, but there is something in your head that just kind of like tinkles with this like feeling of gold, and but yeah, you're just waking up now, and looks to be a fairly nice day.
So who is driving?
If you get up to look, it looks like Forsidna's driving, and Danderin's kind of like sort of sitting in his seat, but head kind of awkwardly hung over to one side. Looks to be snoozing at the moment.
Does Quintus remember Claris Wrighton?
Claris is in the wagon with you.
Oh.
Yeah. He's asleep.
Well, I mean,
he's completely
that was the
asleep.
important thing.
But he's in the wagon with you.
For Sidna, I seem to have dozed off. How long have we been traveling?
Sorry, I was typing a thing.
Oh.
Forsidna says, we've been on the road for some hours. There was a time when I was the only one awake, but everyone seemed to be sleeping. I imagine it was a rough night in the inn.
Okay.
I can't imagine why that would be the case. I'm not much of a drinker.
I can't.
Oh, right. Yes, of course. No, you wouldn't be able to imbibe either. That is passing strange, but it seems that we've gotten on board sufficiently capable.
That we all dozed off, especially when we were so worried about the tigers, was it?
You see the blood drain from Quintus's face, and he just gawps at you. Quintus doesn't say anything, but he digs into his bag for his notebook and bundle of charcoals.
Okay.
And begins frantically sketching at the without saying anything, just like knees up to his chest, frantically trying to commit what he has to paper.
Okay. Sounds good. Denrin, there's a point where the wagon goes over kind of a large bump and you get jostled and you sort of snap awake. And Forsidna looks at you and goes, "Oh, good. You're awake."
He's gonna like squint his eyes and look around.
Apologies, I'm
He's gonna shift his
infantry."
armor.
She says, "Apologies, I'm infantry for a reason. I'm no good around horses."
Oh no worries, and he'll take the reins. How long will we going for?
I've been driving now for a few hours. It was very quiet.
He's gonna keep shifting in his armor.
Yeah, you feel really stiff. Like sleeping in plate mail is not a thing that a person should do.
I'm not in plate mail yet. I just modified the token because I thought we were going to be here 2 weeks ago.
Oh, gotcha. Well, still, sleeping in the heavy armor that you have is not necessarily something people should do. And and she'll tell you, I believe Quintus and Lumia are awake now. Everyone was asleep with me.
I see. And there's just Adrian is going to just keep like moving straps on his armor, just like what is going on here? Why is it? So he's just going to take a note of who's awake and who's asleep.
Okay.
He's going to like really like once he starts looking at everyone, he's going to like look at their armor, look at their weapons, look all around him.
So I mean, you see,
his just doesn't feel right.
Tertia never lets you touch her stuff anyway. But you always do. You always do maintenance on Delian. I believe it's Delian, Lumio, and Sharut in addition to you. And
I can do one more.
But as you like look behind you and look over, you can see Sharut, and you see that in his little holsters at his side are his hand crossbows. And you always you tweak him a little bit, and you give him a good oil rub and everything, and it doesn't look like that's been done today. There's a similar thing I believe that happens with Delian's armor, or maybe it's Delian's weapons, but he's just asleep. It doesn't look like you've done it today.
That's it's not like me at all. How did you all sleep last night?
Roughly.
That's odd.
Indeed. Especially with a bad hangover.
Delian, you would probably kind of groggily wake up at this point because people around you are talking.
Okay.
So you would hear that bad hangover as you wake up, and it feels like a bad hangover, man. Like things are just fuzzy right now.
Yeah. As Delian's waking up, he goes, "Cheese was last night's dinner."
I don't remember last night's dinner.
Oh, what? Oh, I must have been dreaming. Hello, everybody. So, I have a question.
Sure.
No, this is in character.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Well then,
The GM parts the clouds. Yeah, what you need?
Oh no, he's back.
are you God? Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm your god.
No, that's all good. So there's I don't know how I know this, and it's a word I've never heard before in my life, but here it is. Dandrin, this sounds like something you would know.
Oh, well, let's hear
Maybe.
it.
Let me just see if I can get my mouth to move the proper way. It's have you heard of something called ruminite? Or did I just make that up in a delirium?
I've heard that. Is that a material or a thing?
So,
or a technique?
when he says the words, so Travis pronounced it incorrectly after I pronounced it correctly to him. So he says the word oramite. And yeah, you know,
He just woke up.
yeah, like
What do you want?
he goes, the Aruminate. And you guys are like, I'm sorry, the what now? But yes, you remember the townsfolk told you that there was an oramite on the road, and then you remember going out to see if that's what waylaid Gever, and then you're pretty sure that it was. You think you're pretty sure it's fuzzy.
Much like your face.
I'm familiar. I was having the oddest dream. I don't think it connects to it.
Well, I mean, even if Dander, you know, like even if you don't know what the oramite was, it doesn't explain how you got Gever back or what
Gever
happened to
here?
him. Yeah, and you have that thought, and then you go, wait, what?
But why'd you leave your sword and armor? Remember that. You something. I don't remember what. What happened to you again, lad? Since last we saw you? Did you sleep?
So you look in the back, and there's all these like bundles of people that are under these various blankets and stuff, right? Like just kind of like laying down. It's like a morning in spring, so it's still a little bit cold. And you see Wrighton under his blanket. You see Sharut under the ratty thing that he uses, because of course he does, because it's not a book, so got to travel light. Tertia is likely just using her cloak, and then you see this last bundle that's just under this like pretty luxurious looking white and black striped blanket. And when you talk to him,
Does it look like a tiger skin?
When you talk to him, it just doesn't move.
Oh, when he wakes up, then. Can I tell, based on the road, about how long we have till we get back?
Yeah, you would think that you have at least another 5 or 6 hours before you get to Jacker's Knack. At least. It depends on how long Frasidna has been driving.
Right.
Like, she says it's been a couple hours, but like if you're just sitting there being real bored driving in a straight line, like maybe not.
Yeah, I was just as people are talking, I'm just gonna keep us going then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the horse shot.
So is anybody else doing anything?
Good call, Dandrin.
Probably not. Like if I'm gonna be quite honest, Delian's just kind of like wigged out.
Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That absolutely makes sense.
At some point, Quintus like stops scrabbling in his book, and face still incredibly pale and eyes wide. He turns it around and he says, "What I want to know is at what point we encountered this." And he flips around his book to let's see. How well is this? Let's find out. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's all right.
A pretty well done picture of a gleaming skeleton in clothing made out of screams.
So Quintus shows
Golden
the two
skeleton.
of you are the three of you this, and Delian and Lumio and Dandrin. You know that, like, I mean, except for the clothing made of screams and the weird horns, that's Gever.
Hell?
What?
But,
I walk over and like, flip the blanket. Oh.
Okay, yeah, you move the fur cloak over, and what you see is the golden skeletal remains of a late teens Korovar. And right next to it looks to be sort of a breastplate with some scales coming out of the bottom that look like all the enamel has been scraped off. along with some greaves and some bam braces and a shield and a broken sword.
How much do you think he's worth?
Well, on
too
that
soon?
morbid track.
On that. So during handling, I'm gonna say that one of you like dropped one of the bones, or somebody tripped on it or something like that, and it hit something at such an angle that it snapped just cleanly in half. And it's something that somebody with some talent could probably fix. But Dandarin, you picked it up and realized this bone is literally solid gold. So if they're all solid gold, probably about $1,000 at least.
Damn.
Well, if the whole skeleton's like this, gold all the way through, it's at least 1,000.
I mean,
It's 1,000 crowns.
And
we lost a person we didn't know, and that's a damn shame.
It just whatever that creature is, what did this to him?
But why?
I'm just going to come out and say it. Does everyone else's armor just not fit right? Like, I didn't do anything with it this morning.
Why was this one moving and that one's not?
Well, the difference is the clothing made of screams and the horns.
That
So,
Granite?
mayhaps. You know what? I'm going with my gut here. Yes.
That's not the question I asked.
Oh.
I'm going to say, Quintus, are you trying to imply that we've lost a stretch of time, that something may have happened to us? I ask only because there is no chance in all 3 of the realms that I forgot to fix my armor this morning.
And
what I'm saying is that's the Aramite.
look,
Could be.
I'm going to tell you something that's important. As a diplomat to other realms, a skill, something learned in my time in the college. I have perfect memory recall. At some point, we encountered this and other horrible things beside. I have not yet had time to commit to paper, and I thought it important enough to keep that in my head forever.
That sounds terrible. Maybe you should stop that.
And I don't know why I taunted it, but something about short capes.
Sounds like a compliment.
I mean, it is wearing a short cape in the shape of a face that is screaming. Yes.
Delian, Lumio, can the two of you in the back of the wagon give me perception checks at a +4?
Oh god, a ghost tiger.
Come
There's
back.
a perception, and there is a 4.
Woo. I thought the 8 was me. I was like, I don't know.
I
how
thought the
got
28 was me, and I was like,
that.
there isn't a place in.
Uh,
There's no way.
Lumio, it's a real nice day. Delian, Quintus is wearing the same sort of short black cape that he always wears. It's like it's attached at the collarbone. It only comes down to like the middle of the back.
The short cape that he
But-
goes on about.
But the one he's wearing it over another one.
Mhm.
And the one underneath it looks to be sort of like mottled,
Made of faces.
kind of peach and brown. And you can't see many details because he has that other one over it and like he's in the way. But
Yeah.
but like he says that whole thing and then he like moves just right and you can kind of catch the sunlight and you definitely see that he is wearing a cloak with a face in it.
Hey, buddy, Quintus.
What?
So, this is so good. So, you mastered the short capes, yeah? Yeah.
Kind of centering. He's like this. It was a fashion trend I brought to Seer
Yeah.
from
Uh,
this other place.
Did the trend die when you doubled up on him and made him of human skin?
What are you talking about? No, we
I mean,
added,
just
we
yeah,
added
yeah.
fringe to them.
like,
It's the delightful fringe.
It's
Dyed in various colors. What are you talking about?
I can't help it. The fringe made of fingers. Cause check under your cape.
Or just like he freezes. He has that reaction to you have a bee on you, or a wasp is on your back, and he just stops moving and very gingerly closes his book and puts it away and undoes the clasp of the cape on his shoulders. And the removal is incredibly practiced. It's very clear. There's a flourish without intent as he removes the cape.
Yeah. And so everybody else that's in the back gets to see him just swing around this just cloth just cloth of screams. And it's black on one side because that's what he's wearing is a black cape, but the one underneath it is basically the same cut. So it's like black and then screams and screams and screams and then black.
Wow.
And at that point, Quintus screams, just a high-pitched, crazed scream, drops it, and begins scrabbling around in the back of the wagon trying to get out.
Okay.
Dandelian's going to look back at the commotion. What's all that? Why does that have a face in it?
So I
Eyes on the
assume
road,
that
Dandelion.
at this point, Sharut, Tertia, and Claris Wrighton will all wake up. And Tertia goes, Who drugged me and put me in the wagon? You know I don't sleep in peasant wagons. And she kind of
Someone drugged all of us.
She kind of stumbles out, wrapping her cloak around her, and starts walking next to the wagon. It's like automatic, like she can't be caught sleeping in this. Sharut just kind of like looks around to try to see why people are screaming. Claris, I imagine, sits up and starts knuckling his eyes and trying to get the sleep out of his eyes. Quintus, you, now cloakless, have jumped out of the moving wagon and are apparently running north.
Quintus, like,
Yes.
stiff-legged, like, walks the opposite direction of the wagon for a little bit, and then he stops and turns around as it's receding, and
Yes.
just struggling to come to terms with that whole bullshit.
Just you're going to get eaten by a tiger. Get back in the wagon. Off the cloak.
Dandelion, would you stop the wagon so I can get it out of the wagon? Because I'm the only one who doesn't have a gag reflex, even though I must vomit.
No, you
I-
can just throw it out of the moving wagon.
Yeah, here,
It'll stop you to throw something out.
I'll take this ape and just get it
Wait.
out of here. I'm
Wait.
just kidding. Those are fake.
That is evidence.
So
No.
you want the cape.
That is the faces of 14 humans. Well, the two on the left might be Koravar or maybe fat elves.
How can you tell?
Quintus is going to close his eyes for a second and try and recall. Is this the cape that the golden skeleton was wearing? Is it the same one? Are the faces in the same spots?
So here's the thing. With your perfect recall, you know that it's not because the faces aren't in the right spots. And it was wearing a short cape, but it was also like a tall creature. Not large, but like it was tall for a medium-sized creature.
So
Okay,
the
sure.
fashion
So,
sense even
the
went to
actual
that
height.
dude.
You probably have the idea that this was either a different cape that was cut down for you or made for you.
Okay. Well, that's a whole new wave of heebie-jeebies that Quintus gets to deal with and is terrified of. Oh no. He looks at Dillian and he says, just roll it up. Just roll it up and put it in the bag. And he tries incredibly hard. He's not going to touch it.
All right. I guess for safekeeping, I'll just put it in this sack.
He has his bag open.
You want to? Okay.
Just put it in the bag.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the bag as slowly as I'm just kidding. I'll put it in.
Dillian, as you start sort of like putting it in the bag and it enters an area that's very dark, you see some of you've rolled it up, but you see some of the areas where there would be eyes are just kind of like faintly glowing golden.
Oh, not to freak you out more. Let me just cover it so you can't. It's the eyes are glowing gold. Interesting. You high society have really odd taste.
Certainly, you chose a hell of a time to join us full time.
And this is Claris speaking, says, I feel like I missed a few things. When did we leave?
We've been wondering that, Clarice. But you're here in the wagon, and that's the important part.
Did we
Oh,
catch
next
the
thing.
Oramite?
I don't know.
And he kind of like looks over at his left to where Lumio had uncovered the bones, and you see him like in the back of the wagon. He scrabbles to the other side, and he goes, "Oh, I guess we did. That's disturbing."
These bones are Geber.
Well, of course they are. Why would we have gone after the bones if not for Gever?
How would we have caught a creature if we only have the bones to show for it of someone not the thing?
Well, that's
So, does that cloak on top of that we used on top of the bones not look disturbingly like a tiger skin?
and Between Quintus and Claris, the two of them can look at it and immediately know that that is an actual fur.
Quintus looks.
Claris goes, "Oh, of course, that's genuine."
We had the discussion that we weren't to kill the tigers. Why do we have the skins of one of the tigers that we knew not to kill?
Right?
Did we kill it?
Uh,
Oh, Sharut.
Sharut says, "Don't know." Just keeps doing his thing, I guess.
You know from when we did fight them that it's possible that Sidna and I could have killed it.
But who skinned it?
I mean, I'm not terrible at skinning an animal.
I think there's a better question here than who skinned it, who tanned it, and he picks it up, and he flips it over so that the fur is like facing him, and you can see the underside, and it's cleaned. It's cleaned and done well. And he says, "I've only ever seen one of these, and it was in Queen Michonne's court."
So, to be clear, to summarize, what we're seeing here is some horrible thing happened to us involving things like this, and we've gained from that a distance along the road, a cape nobody seems to recall creating in the first place, horrible memories, a cape made of actual human skin faces, and the solid gold bones,
and potentially fat elf.
potentially fat.
Yes, and about 1,000 gold worth of golden bones that may or may not have been a traveling companion of ours.
And all of us somehow know what killed it.
And Sharut says, "Must be the Ormite." And Claris says, "I believe it was the Ormite." And you hear Forsidna say, "It must be the Ormite."
Quintus
You say it
is
like
gonna-
at the same time.
Pretty
Quintus is
much,
gonna do
yeah.
Quintus is going to do a knowledge check. The fuck is an Oromite?
Okay.
Can Lumio is my name. Can I also attempt to do that?
Yes. This would be a knowledge nature check.
Neato.
If you have something that would be like similar that you can roll, you got it with a 22. Quintus failed and then, well, he failed real bad and then didn't get it. Lumio.
Yeah.
Oromites are mischievous fae who are very, very attracted to the metal of gold. Not necessarily to wealth, but to the metal of gold to use for kind of nefarious purposes. They do like little crafting and tinkering and generally make trouble of things, but they do it using gold. So it's almost like a welcome trouble. Because if
turning someone's skeleton into gold, not their bag.
Yeah, so like if an Oromite decides that it's going to like, I'll show him he kicked at my little hovel in the woods, I'll replace all of his shoes with gold. That'll be uncomfortable.
Yeah. I get
Don't
it.
teach me.
That'll teach
You're
you.
throwing the mithril bricks at us. Oh, my one weakness.
Can I think for a moment on that and then decide to think more about something that's a constant go-to move is turn a person to gold?
There is, from what you know of an Oromite, they can manipulate gold. There's no way they can turn the bones into gold. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And you have that thought, and then as you probably go to voice it, the words that come out of your mouth are, "Must be the Oromite." And can I get a will save from you?
Yes, please. You know what? I believe I only have one hero point left, and I was kind of saving it in case I was going to die soon, because that happened. So what I'm going to do instead, though, is go ahead and use that on this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm rolling this with a +8.
Good roll. So that's going to be a 25.
Yes.
So you know that you're anything related to Geber, what happened to him, anything about it, you're under a very, very strong compulsion to just blame the Oromite. It had to have been the Oromite. This doesn't break the compulsion. You know that it's there. That's what this is doing. Like, you understand that it's there.
Oh, must be the Oromite.
And when you say it, like, for Sidna and Claris and Sharut, we're all like, must be the Oromite. It must be the Oromite. It had to have been the Oromite.
And,
Why are you all saying it like that?
Must be the Emirati.
What is an Oromite? No one has spoken that out loud yet.
Lumio turns to Quintus and says, "Must be the Oromite." And like he just keeps mumbling it to himself out loud, in different tones, trying to force an inflection on it that may or may not be there.
As you say it, Quintus is well. Yes, of course, it must be the Oromite.
And yeah, like puzzling it out, but like having a conversation with himself at the same time. Must be the Oromite. Must be the Oromite.
And
The Oromite. Must
the interior of the wagon, and I guess the exterior, because Tertia's outside, is just this phrase and variations of this phrase. For as long as you're doing this, every time you say it, pretty much everybody in the wagon echoes what you said.
be.
Great. It's the greater good.
The
from
greater
Hot
good.
Fuzz.
The greater
But
good.
But it's
the
like
greater
one of
good.
us knows that the
Any
greater
point
good
does
makes
someone
us say it.
Oh,
Does anyone at some point say what Oromites actually are out loud?
Can I describe it?
Yeah, you can describe it. It looks like a tiny sort of it's a gold skinned skinny fae that would be about a head shorter than Sharut. And they're usually wearing like nothing more than like a gold colored loincloth and sort of like this is basically what you know of this thing is you're like, oh yeah, it's a little tiny gold skinned fae and usually
Before
naked,
we
and
had
they just
Yeah,
do all
before we
these
had
things.
left Newt's ear, I had a discussion with Sirakt about various fae that were of interest to all, I guess you could say. And once we pondered upon a Normite, they are a mischievous bunch who like to play tricks with gold. It's unusual for them to be so angered that they would kill a person, but I suppose that stranger things are possible.
Lumio, friend Lumio.
Mhm.
I have
That's not tracking.
I have extensive knowledge, direct first-hand knowledge of the Fae. I've lived with them for more years than are really worth counting. I don't know what this is, and
wait-
yet it must in fact be the Oromite that was the cause of all of this.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that makes sense. It must be the Ormite. Can you once he describes it, can you give me another knowledge nature check at a -2, please?
Oh, that's why. I don't want to make that check as the wagon. Probably. It did get better. Nice. I was like, that's not going to get better.
No.
So once
Gonto
he,
is spoken.
once he describes it, you haven't seen one of these. You've heard of them. You've heard of them in your time on Thalanis. But Fae don't really value gold the same that that humans do.
Right. Yeah, of course.
So why would they stay there, really? But what you've heard people refer to them as is guild specs. And like all of the Fae have their own little like abilities and like things that they can twist and merge and meld. And to a lot of them, the Oromite is so heavily specific that it's practically worthless. And with your rolls, there's absolutely no way that it did that thing. But it must have been the Oromite. Can you give me a will save?
Yeah. And like Lumio, I will spend a hero point on this.
Okay.
Um,
Roll one.
in part to represent the fact that Quintus has specifically memories to the contrary of this whole business. So that plus 8.
Yeah, so you got a 29.
Yeah.
Yes, you are in the same spot that Lumio is, where the compulsion is still there. The compulsion has not gone away at all. You just know that it's there. When you try to blame something else or say that it could have been something else, you always will inevitably end it with, well, it must have been the Oromite.
Why are you all saying that phrase like that?
Let's hazard a guess. Something fantastic. Though we know it was the Oromite.
It must be the Oromite.
It must. It
Okay,
simply is.
Argument's sake, let's just say it must have been the Oromite.
It must have been the Oromite.
Precisely. If it was, in fact, the Oromite.
It must have been the Oromite.
It must have been the Oromite.
Must have been
and
the Oromite.
And at that point, Quintus is going to break script just a little bit and try and say, was it a guild spec, though?
And so you would probably answer your own question at this. So you could go like, but was it a guild spec? And then you go, it must have been an Oromite.
Yeah, and Quentis looks at Lumio,
and he goes to like touch his nose.
It doesn't have one.
Yeah,
he just puts his finger in front of his face,
and then like taps the side of his head. Must have been the Oromite.
And everybody says it again, and everybody will likely keep saying it the whole way to Jacker's Knack.
But like at some point, like Enderon's just gonna. It must have been the Oromite. The hell is an Oromite? It's some kind. You say it's like a little fey bug.
well, look,
Like a toddler almost.
Well, then why must it have been the Oromite? Even though it must have been the Oromite.
Must have been the Oromite. Because it's about the size of like a head shorter than Shrewd, but golden with a golden loincloth and golden little hairs.
Then how the hell did it kill, Gever, even though it must have been the Oromite? How could it have killed Gever, even though it was definitely the Oromite?
I want to be clear that the guild specs specifically are they're not covetous. There are many Fae who are covetous. The guild specs specifically are not. Their understanding of gold, as you see it, as we see it, is it comes from a different perspective. It's a heavy metal. It's not dangerous. It's not useful. It's soft. And from some of a sort of a primitive understanding of what it is that people value versus what they need, they've specialized into playing pranks, harmless pranks that are intended to foist this worthless and useless metal on those who might offend them. And that is very clearly why it must have been an Oromite who transformed this skeleton completely into gold.
And you say that, and Shrewd goes, gold is worthless. Too soft.
It has wonderful artistic value.
And
but yes, it's worthless as armor or weapons.
You say, like, what about artistic value as you're, like, turning around and looking in the back of the wagon. Shrewd makes eye contact with you and blinks and blinks and blinks and goes, what? 'Cause Dakani.
So we're in Jacker's Knack now, apparently. We've been saying it must have been the Oromite for... Oh, good God, is that where the sun is now?
So, yes, all of you, it is, 3-ish, 4-ish. The sun's still high. It's just, nearing towards night. And you guys get out. You can make your way back to the Round Bear, which was the inn that we had here, and grab some rooms if you'd like. And yeah, it looks like they have a flautist, a pipist, and some sort of halfling bellower who's not really singing, just sort of doing this thing where he's basically throat singing. So he's making these low roaring noises and occasionally hitting his chest, so they kind of echo. And together with the pipe and the flute, it actually makes pretty good music if anybody wants to just chill out in the common room and have a nice night.
Dandern has too much he's going to do now. So after paying for everything,
yeah,
he's going to go back and just do maintenance on everyone's everything.
Yeah.
And he's also going to go to the Gever Bones, and he's just going to be like, well, it'd be too morbid to do this, and they are solid gold. Anyway, Dandern spends the night turning Gever into ingots.
Okay. Yeah. You can totally do that. Can you give me a profession blacksmithing check before you start working on the Gevs? Good old Gev. Also, do you want to do this with what Quintus called evidence of something? I mean, that's a question that I'll ask you because he was like, "This is evidence," and you're like, "This is."
So instead, he's just going to fix that bone. He's going to make it sure that it looks perfect.
Okay, sounds good. As you go to tend to your armor, this looks bad, man. Like it. And to be fair, like, get what I'm saying as a person. As a person, to me, this does not look bad. This is still well taken care of armor. To Danderen, the extremely precise and pedantic blacksmith, this is in terrible condition. It looks like you haven't touched this in weeks. What is wrong with you? How could you let your armor fall into such disrepair?
Something's wrong. I can feel it. In the deepest depths of my soul. Someone has done something.
All right. And from everyone, before the riot starts, can I get from everyone Actually, this isn't going to be a perception check. And I'm going to give it to the one person that this couldn't happen to, Lumio. So you guys all get out of the wagons, and everybody starts kind of doing their thing. Dandrin starts like messing with his armor, and Forsidna is like immediately going to go use the facilities. Tertia wants to get something to drink, and everybody is just kind of chilling out for a little while. And you notice that Sharut is kind of like he's moving a little bit slower than he usually does, and he keeps coughing. He keeps like like it looks like he's a little sick, and he'll like blow his nose, and you see him. He'll stop, and he'll like put something to his forehead, and he'll kind of like put a couple fingers to his neck, and he just shrugs and he keeps going. And then you're kind of noticing that of the other people in your group who are remarkably light-stepped. You don't see it from Forsidna or Dandrin at all, because the two of them are basically bowling balls with legs. But Tertia and Delian and Sharut, they just look really just kind of weighed down, kind of slow. And then you notice this thing happening in right around 6 or so, maybe about 6:30, when the sun's kind of like still starting to drop because it's still early spring. You're all sitting in the common room, except for Dandrin, who's off doing some stuff, like he's off mending that broken bone. And you're watching Quintus and Delian speak with Clarice Wrighton, and you realize that the firelight is very bright. It's very orange yellow, but there's something else that's happening here, and it's happening with Delian. It's happening with Quintus. You're pretty sure it's even happening with Clarice, and it's very, very faint. But you're pretty sure that they are faintly radiating golden light, and it's kind of hard to see because they're just sitting there in the firelight, right? But you're pretty sure it's there.
Quintus, would you mind joining me in your room for a moment?
Yes, of course, Lumio.
Something slightly delicate to talk to you about.
Oh.
And as you pick up Quintus to walk away, Clarice says, "It's fine. We'll speak of something else." And
It's not my boots, is it?
And he looks to Delian and he says, "So, the mustache. I say keep it, but you need epaulets."
What?
He's right.
Nothing sets a man with a mustache apart like epaulets, especially if he didn't earn them. Fashion accessory only. If they're part of your rank, you don't want them.
I don't want to give everybody the assumption that I am of rank. That means responsibility. Responsibility I don't want.
What's better than responsibility you can shirk?
That coming to bite you.
We'll work on it. And Lumio, as you're walking with Quintus into the room, like it's hard to see because Quintus is covered pretty much from neck down.
Oh yeah.
But when you get into a room that doesn't have a bright fire and he turns to look at you, you see that his skull is glowing through his skin.
I want to do this delicately, so I'm going to fetch water for a basin. You should prepare for bed and close the curtains. And he's gonna go grab a bucket of water for like washing up, because I assume there's like a washing up basement.
Oh, I assume that like a traveler's inn like this, they probably gave you a wash basin as you guys got in. So
yeah, and he fills that a little bit too much, so that it'd have like a reflecting bit in the bottom of it that could mellow out. Because I assume that mirrors don't exist so much.
No, I mean mirrors are a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I'll check. This place actually has mirrors. Yeah.
Oh, well, then all of that stuff I don't have to.
Yeah, there you go. It has a mirror that's kind of like right over the wash basin, so that you can see what you're washing.
Yeah, and so Lumio very gently guides him to the mirror, and points to it, and asks him what he thinks attacked Gever.
Yeah, and Quintus, as you move to the mirror, I'm assuming, you sort of like step up on the little stool so that you can like use the wash basin, and you look into the mirror, and yeah, you can fully see the glow being put on by it's like this bright golden glow being put on by your skull underneath the skin of your face.
I am struck with the terrifying realization that it's inside me.
I believe it is also in a few of our companions.
But what? No, what specifically is it? That's the question. What is this thing? I have the images. At that point, like, he reaches into his bag, shuddering only briefly, to pull out his notebook, and he flips it open frantically. I have the images. I know what they look like. But what are they? What have they done to us?
Are your hands still gloved as you're doing all this?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amongst these people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And he shows you a trio of images, Lumio. You see a golden skeleton wearing clothing made of screams with long horns. Must be the Ormite. You then see a woman who looks very smoky, and then you see what looks to be like an eyeball covered in blades. It looks like someone who is very, very edgy, trying to, like, oh, and I'll draw a monster. What if it had, like, knives and then more knives?
Now, hold on just a moment. I'm not sure if I can do this in this particular fashion, but, well, I'm going to give it a shot. Quintus is going to sit on the bed, and he is going to open himself up to possibilities. In this case, specifically what he's taking is he's picking expanded divinations.
Okay.
To pick up divination types that he would not normally have, so that he can use the divine ability of them to check some things. So he is picking up with expanded divinations. He is picking up the detect or divine unnatural, divine undead, and divine shadow. Divine unnatural is the presence. Yeah, so unnaturals is outsiders and aberrations, kind of like divining for shapeshifters. Shadow is creatures or objects native to the plane of shadow, and then undead is undead. And in turn, he is going to try and use these on himself.
Okay, so divine undead, no, nothing happens.
He takes a deep breath. He's like, okay, my skeleton isn't alive without me yet. That's, of all of the things it could be, that's frankly one of the ones I was most worried about, being worn as a skin puppet by something inside. It doesn't really bear thinking about. Let's move on.
And then you, like, sort of stop looking at yourself before you turn it on, and you look at your bag, and you get like a faint ping.
He pulls out the cloak.
Oh yeah, definitely rings as necromantic magic.
Is it alive? Undead alive?
No, it's just necromantic magic.
Okay. He'll keep it rolled up and just kind of place it there because he's gonna check it along with himself now.
Okay. Unnaturals. The presence of outsiders and aberrations. No. Also no.
Okay. So probably not one of the Rakshasa, so that's good. Likely not something from too far away from Eberron. That's good. Okay. All right. Well, this isn't so bad so far. It's not awful.
And what was the last one?
Shadow.
Faintly, but not enough to really explain this, and also not in a way that makes sense to you, because this is faintly detecting a shadow and brightly radiating light.
Right. Okay.
It sort of like flies in the face of what you would probably know about typical magical conventions. Most people don't use, like, I'm going to cast shadow evocation to cast light. Like, that's just weird. Most people don't do that.
Quintus turns to Lumio and says, this is actually, in a lot of ways, this is heartening. This horror show of whatever happened that we can't quite recall. Eliminating some of the possibilities, at least, where we can start to understand what it is in front of us, inside of us. Okay. It's not undead. Does Lumio ping to the shadow?
No, Lumio doesn't ping to any of this.
And you seem unaffected.
Here's the thing. Warforged don't have bones.
Right.
So no.
Well, of course. In hindsight, it was obvious.
In hindsight, I should have thought of that first. It must have been the Ormite.
I'm just checking things. just checking things. Well, it's not outsiders. There's a light connection to shadow energies, which is interesting because it's glowing. Typically, that wouldn't work that way. It's sort of inverse to the property of the planes of where shadow is most prevalent. So not as likely, but that's an intriguing clue in and of itself. Certainly worth some additional introspection here to try and figure out what caused this.
All right,
but
I'm gonna jump to
Mhm.
Delian real quick. Delian,
Okay.
a server walks by the two of you, you and Claris, and just for a moment, the server's body blocks the fire, so that Claris very briefly falls into shadow. But when he falls into shadow, you realize that like you can see the bones of his hands and the bones of his face. And then when like the light's back on you, well, the light's on you, so you can't really make it out. But if you like just stare hard enough, you can tell like, fuck, like I can see this dude's skull through his face.
Hey, you want to follow me for a sec? I want to see, like, see if my eyes are working proper.
All right, sure.
And then I have a room, I assume. Sorry, I was in the restroom. When
Yeah. I assume that you have a room probably next to like Quintus's and Dandarin's. Yeah.
Okay.
So you take him to your room?
Yeah.
Okay.
All
so
right.
it is very obvious as so like you are not covered from head to toe, or are from neck down. You can see your own hands. As soon as you guys are away from the fire, you can see the glow of your bones coming through your own hands.
Well, crumbs. So I guess we're rich. We just have to die first.
And star wipe to Dandarin. Well, I guess we're rich. We just have to die first. Dandarin, you get done fixing Gever's tibia, and you climb out of the wagon, and you quench your forge, you climb out of the wagon, and there's you see Tertia and Forsidna both just sitting there on the ground, sort of like back to back, and they're just kind of like leaning back against each other, and they're kind of passing a bottle. One will pass it off to the left, and the other one will reach to the right and grab it and take a swig and talk a little bit, and then the other one will pass it to the left, and one will reach to the right and grab it. So they don't really see each other, but you can see them as you step down, and you can tell that like there's something weird about their faces. It's probably a bit more pronounced on Tertia because you can see her arms too. Tertia tends to wear more revealing clothing than Forsidna does.
Yeah, he'll get closer.
Okay. And yeah, like as you're looking down, you can see that like Forsidna's skull is visible through her face, and Tertia's whole skeleton seems to be visible. This would be an alarm, but they apparently haven't really gone inside. They're just kind of like sitting outside talking to each other about nothing and passing a bottle back and forth. And like you see Tertia's smoking something. Forsidna is just kind of like absent-mindedly occasionally chucking a ball, like this little blue ball, against the wall whenever she doesn't have the drink in her hand. And you hear the names Bowing, and you hear the name Corley, and then you start hearing Tertia list a couple of names that you haven't heard before.
Andrew he'll give them that moment as he goes, and as he just polished his shield and everything before he started working on the tibia. Gonna light the lantern, set it up, and set it so that he can see his reflection in shield, since both of them are glowing.
Yeah.
He's gonna pop his helmet off, and he's gonna just check parts of himself.
Yeah, I mean, with your helmet off, like you can basically tell that your forehead is glowing. It's not quite coming through your beard. You described Dandarin's beard as being pretty prodigious, so like you can't see the lower bit.
Proper dwarven beard.
You can't see the lower bit, but it definitely looks like, you got the whole forehead and nose and eyes, those sort of bits going.
Put his helmet back on. I have to find a way to fix that. He's going to walk over with a bottle of dwarven spirits and approach Garcia and Sidna. Room for one more?
And Fosina goes, yes, of course, sit down. And Tertia, without nearly that much tact, looks up to you and can kind of see through the little slit in your helmet and goes, what's with your face?
With your skeleton.
Did you cast light on yourself like Delian did the other day?
Oh, I'll say it again. Your skeleton's glowing. I'll just point it out to her.
And she goes, you see her like look down, and then she takes another smoke or another drag from the cigarro that she's smoking, and another swig from the bottle, and she goes, yeah, this stuff's pretty good.
Well, anyway, and he'll just join him, and he'll at some point the list of names, he'll just add Gruddock to it.
My brother.
I feel less sad about this than I should. More time has passed in the grieving.
It seems like they were both sort of listing people lost either in the war or for Tertia in the morning. And then they kind of moved on to people they had lost recently. And with Forsidna being from House Deneth and Tertia being from, Seer, both of their lists are fairly extensive. So it's a lot of like, yeah, and my cousin's like, oh yeah, wait, you're saying that he was in the Battle of Metrol in like 826? And she goes, yes. Wait, pretty sure my mom fought there. She might have killed him. She might have. That's how it went. And it's just that. It's that morbid sort of like mourner's talk that everybody after the war has to do at some point. Once you point it out to Forsidna, she definitely reacts differently than Tertia did because she's not quite as drunk or high. So there's a lot of like, am I going to die?
No.
Will what happened to Geva happen to me?
Maybe. Must have been the Auramite. Now, you see, I keep saying that. It must have been the Auramite.
Well, because it must have been the Auramite, but how do I stop it?
At that point, he's going to like make a face like, and snap his fingers, be like, see, that right there. Why are you saying it after I say it?
Because it's just a fact. It must have been the Auramite.
You don't go around repeating it must have been the Auramite. You don't go around repeating facts, though. Mithril is a silver substitute, but I don't go around saying it. I don't go around saying that people's armor are made by charlatans who don't know the right end of a hammer to hit on their anvil. It's just true, and no offense to the people who aren't from the Holds, but it's just facts. Don't just go around spewing it, though.
Well, we make do with what we have for the armor, but I'm more concerned about my own bones.
No, it's, you see, though, this time, we would never have let the armor get into the condition it was. Not a chance.
I can't let
just said something about it.
I can't let this one contract have taken all three of us.
You're not dead yet. It's something, so we have to keep living. We have to keep moving on for those we've lost and for ourselves.
And she kind of like looks around, and again, like, you guys don't have many people watching, but just to be sure, she'll put her helmet on and drop the visor down so that she is about as hidden as you are. Tertia is now the thing providing the light along with your lantern. Yeah. So everybody gets some sleep, and then in the morning, everybody can wake up, and you can take the last day's trek down to New Seer.
We'll do that.
So I think that's where we're going to stop for the day. So jam, forks, and jelly spoons, thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Goodbye.
Bye now.